can't kill Michael Myers! It's impossible!
This is what happens when you work to change things.
You're being a little bitch.
What do you fucking want from me? Get off my dick!
You know, if you don't understand the situation, it's better sometimes not to speak and just be proven a complete imbecile in the matter. Okay,
So, good evening and welcome.
Fuck you. I think you a bitch. You understand what
Now,
I'm saying?
I just want everybody to remember
is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying
that.
What are you saying?
Huh?
First they think you're crazy.
You are listening to
I don't know. I don't.
the winner of the best AMC YouTuber from Ohio award from 2021. Right here. Right here. So, good evening, welcome, happy Hanukkah, all that fun stuff. Let's get into it. Shall we? Yeah, I think so. Here we go.
Hey friends, welcome to Stock Trade Crypto Plays. I'm talking about AMC stock. I have the Form 8K filed with the Securities Exchange Commission, the SEC. What really happened in the vote, the upcoming vote that we just had, not upcoming, the one we just had in November, okay? This November 2023. Take a look here.
Okay, so why are we looking at this now? This came out, didn't this come out? Yeah, this came out a while ago. Why are we looking at this now? I'm seeing November 9th. Who knows? He just discovered it, I guess.
Proposal number 1. This is from the official SEC documents. I'm going to pull it up here. Form 8K, okay? So you can see it there. Certificate, proposal number 1, amendment of the company's certificate of incorp to declassify the board of directors, shorten all existing terms to expire at the annual meeting, and make certain other immaterial changes to the certificate of incorporation. Stockholders failed to approve amendment of the company's certificate of incorporation.
Wow, did he take
the board
his I can't read pills today? What the hell?
Terms to expire at the annual meeting and make certain other immaterial changes to the certificate of incorporation. 34 million votes, yes, that was it. And then there was 60 million non-votes.
Okay, so he's going over this. All right, cool. Is there anything else in this video? No. Where's the commentary?
What the books look like, right?
Let's hear the commentary.
Expulsion provision to limit the liability of certain officers. Banned the exculpation provision to limit the liability of certain officers.
Very good.
For it, 15 million against it, 60 million.
You say exculpation like we say exculpation.
The independent registered public accounting. 83 million for, 50 million against. Broker non-votes, 0. That seems rigged to me. How do you have 0 broker non-votes on just that prop? Very interesting, very strange.
Well,
Passed. Very strange.
Ernst & Young's a big corporation.
Right? Can't switch accounting firms. Right? Can't have anyone.
But didn't they switch accounting firms recently, though?
Right? There was not one single broker non-vote. Does that seem strange to you? Do you guys realize how important accounting is? Especially if you're doing potential criminal things and hiding numbers and fixing numbers.
What?
Like that.
Oh, Jesus.
Accounting is.
Yes, it's good to have a good accountant so they can cook the books for you.
Had a new
Right.
accounting firm, and that accounting firm discovered some shady things or illegal things. 0 broker non-votes. Look at
That would be a tragedy. Oh, man.
there was 60 million broker non-votes, but on this one, 0 non-votes. Every single share was voted. Really? Every single share? Not even one was excluded? Really? Interesting. Very interesting. 83 million for it. Seems like desperation. Seems corrupt to me. What do you think? Comment below. Prop 7. Non-binding advisory vote on executive compensation. Stockholders failed to approve a non-binding advisory basis the compensation paid to our named executive officers. 20 million for, 20 million against, 60 million broker non-votes. Ooh, was Adam Aron angry about that?
Well,
as soon as he didn't get his money.
At least there's some justice in the world. They voted down the compensation, although aren't these non-binding advisory votes anyway? Doesn't even matter.
Or the extra money that he wanted. Of course he's getting his money, but he didn't get extra money that he wanted. That's when he said, I'm diluting $350 million of new AMC shares I'm going to crash AMC stock. I'm going to make you all suffer. And that's what he did. How do you feel about it? Signatures. Kevin M. Connor, Senior Vice President, General Counsel, and Secretary. There it is, guys. You got the official data on the vote from this November. Form 8K, SEC, official document.
The only problem, well,
somewhere else, they're lying. This is what was filed with the SEC. This is the hard data, okay? I'm trying to block the glare from my glasses. That's why I have to put my head in this weird position, okay? Hit like, subscribe, add notification, share the video with a friend. What do you think?
yeah, okay.
Can you smell?
You got to get that anti-glare coating. Surprised he doesn't know about that.
Believable. Talk to you guys soon. Comment below all your thoughts on this.
All right, let's get to the real stuff. Here's the real stuff right here. This is the real stuff.
Legal advice for entertainment, educational purposes only. Anything else?
Oh, he's got his walking shirt on. He's walking.
Decision.
It's the walking shirt.
Any videos, that being said, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff. So you get the videos, I put them out. See them thinking, see them analyzing that data. Like I tell you every day, they release us as false. When it gets a false narrative, the markets, we make bad trading decisions. Listen, I was looking at some data that was released over the weekend. Oh, well, it might have been released a few days before, but I didn't see it till over the weekend.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
AMC concessions are up. The cost of the concessions is up over 50%, and the cost of exhibition is up over 50%. So, even though AMC is making more money, now the allegations is that has become more. For some reason,
I wonder what that reason could possibly be. I mean, it's like these... This is so ridiculous. Did Donahue George finally learn about the difference between revenue and profit? I don't. Let's keep listening to find out.
The cost of making sugar water or soda has
for some reason
50%. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. This inflation is not real. It's false. What are you talking about? What could you possibly say here? I can't wait. I am so anxious. Model 3 dude. Good evening, afternoon, what have you?
Fugazi accounting to me. Okay? I believe this is Fugazi accounting. And if this is really showing in the paperwork, I am under the impression that somebody might be embezzling. Okay, somebody on the AMC team might be involved.
That's got to be it, because, no. During the worst spat of inflation in 40 years, we can't expect costs of fucking concession stands to go. Give me a fucking break here, okay? Is this guy for real? There's no way he's for real. This guy is a computer simulation of a retard.
50%, maybe.
What the hell?
Possible, but even that would be highly unlikely to me. But now they're reporting that concession costs are up over 50%, exhibition costs are up over 50%. That raises my antennas, that raises a red flag to me, and it tells me that something bigger is probably going on. We all know how embezzlers work. Sometimes what they do is they will...
Speak for yourself here, Donahue. We know, you know how embezzling works, apparently.
Open up a shell company to provide the same services and then hire their own company.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Services at an exorbitant rate. Or at times, they might not even provide any services at all, but just send bills to themselves at the company, and the company pays the bills. Or they might have an unscrupulous business who's already doing business with AMC, and they work out some type of arrangement where they allow
I mean,
vendor to overcharge
how,
AMC, and then they split the difference with the vendor. I
and they fuck.
that something shady is going on with the AMC accounting.
Oh, of course you do.
I believe, and I'm not saying it's Aron. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when something goes up.
Why not? You might as well say that. That is what you're saying. You're saying it's a company. He's a CEO. What else are you saying? Huh? I mean, what
You're saying? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying? Are you saying it? What are you saying? Huh?
Oh boy, I don't know. This one would be better in the meeting room. And I don't know if you can hear. I'm wearing headphones here, so I can hear a little bit more closely. You can hear how loud he's talking, how loud he's shouting. Like I can hear his voice echoing off of these buildings around this picturesque waterfront property that he's walking around. I mean, at least it's not 5 a.m. It's still dark like it was that one time. People looking out the window like, what the hell is this guy going on about? Lower your voice. Or just, better yet, just stop talking.
Like concession costs go up over 50%. That.
Where's the source for this?
That's a red flag.
Where's the source for this?
When exhibition costs go
I don't know.
over 50%, that's a red flag to me. That tells me something shady is going on behind the scenes, and we need to get a forensic accountant to go through AMC books because something is definitely going on. Anyway, please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Do you think AMC's...
I think that you probably need to drink more water, mister, because you're getting winded walking and talking. At least he's wearing his walking shirt. As if he wasn't doing that, he'd probably overheat and have a heart stroke. He'd have a heart stroke. Okay, this is not the last we'll hear of this clown today. Don't worry. But before that, this marks a new day, I believe, in the chapter of Lou versus Wall Street. Indeed, Lou has adopted the aesthetic of wearing glasses. Look at this guy in his new glasses. I wonder if he got them from the Stock and Crypto Creep, Luxottica, or wherever the hell. I am beyond anticipating what this video is. Why AMC can't climb until this happens. Great title. All right, here we go. With Lou in his glasses. New smart erudite Lou.
Okay, what bank/hedge fund will AMC destroy next?
City.
From Joe. Good morning. Well, it's nighttime, but good morning back to you. What's up, Joe? Hate to reopen AMC wounds, but now I'm wondering what is happening in AMC. I'm still in it, so am I, with less motherfucking stocks due to the reverse split. I understand, same here. As far as I know, the AMC has become very toxic to banks, hedge funds. When Archaeus went down, Credit Suisse took over and went down, UBS helped from the Swiss government, bought Credit Suisse and drowned, okay, short swaps, okay. So how many more banks hedge funds need to fail before banks finally give in and get a bump up, possibly in the huge increase in price so I can get out of AMC? Thanks for everything you do and all the info you get. Giant hugs, Joe, let me just say something. Okay, touching on AMC for a second, because I said emails are open for anything. You could, ask me.
Oh, they must just be reading glasses. Dang it.
Favorite.
Just cheaters.
AMC was going to get a rise up. It was already happening. Popcorn put those shares out. He stopped that run again. There's shares out in the open market.
Stop that run again. That's what he does. That's his job.
Popcorn has shares. As long as he has shares, that will happen. Now, all the banks and hedge funds are all going to go through a financial calamity happening in the next couple of weeks, a couple of months. It's already happening. There's just no way around it. The purchasing, I don't want to get too Wall Street, but the purchasing manager.
Oh, no, please, Lou.
The world a couple of days ago.
Use the Wall Street jargon. We want to hear the Wall Street jargon. Gives you an air of credibility.
And we're in a total downgrade. Like the entire world is like. As far as, when is AMC going to get a bump up? I can tell you right now, Popcorn has to have no shares. Because every time it rises up, he has shares, he will drop. And I keep telling people that as long as he has shares, everybody in AMC is fucked. That is our biggest enemy. It ain't the shorts, it ain't the hedge funds, it ain't the banks. It is Popcorn and the board.
Well, that's different. That's not what the narrative was. That's not what the narrative was that carried you through 2021 and 2. It's not the shorts, it's the shares. Oh, because in 2021 and 2, it was, boy, AMC is different. When they dilute the float, the price actually goes up. We can't explain it. It's just the way it is. Remember that from Rico and probably Trey and other retards. Yeah, AMC, when they dilute it, the price goes up. I guess that's out the window now. I don't know. That's no longer in effect. Probably never was.
We beat everybody, but the company we saved worked against us. How have you financially profited from AMC or what he's doing? Do you understand? So once he runs out of shares, then we'll have a conversation again. But he has to run out of shares again. I'm not going to waste my time on AMC anymore. Nothing against you.
Oh.
My God, I love you, mother.
Wow, that was...
Do you understand? It's hard when I say something's going to happen, nobody believes me, and then it happens, and they're like, how can this happen?
Of course, that's what's happened every time with Lou. He says something's going to happen, nobody believes him, and then it happens, and then he has to come on here and be like, see, I told you guys. So he's just not even going to spend the time on it now. Wow, good. Awesome. Good God. Okay. So I am hesitating to say this, but I guess I will. It seems like the AMC Grift, speaking of state of the Grift, is strong still. I don't know how, but it seems to be. $2 glasses from the dollar store. Yes. See, Donnie, that Model 3 dude's trying to teach you something here. $2 glasses from the dollar store. Yeah. Thanks, inflation. Thanks, Obama. He's talking about AMC because he's not getting any clicks with XRP. Because is XRP possibly a worse investment than AMC? I don't know. Okay. Here's a new one. I haven't seen this guy yet. Degen Ed. Degen Ed. It's degenerative education. Talking about AMC. Now, I haven't watched this. I don't know anything about this. Let's go. I'm always up for a new one.
Ed, Hey, what's up? This is Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts.
That's an interesting take on the whole thing.
AMC Entertainment, ticker symbol AMC. And so to start, I wanted to go over the chart on the hourly time frame because it shows this low that occurred in the after hours on November 22nd, which I believe was Wednesday before the holiday. And the low is $6.50, which we don't see during market hours. The low during market hours is actually $6.52, which occurred on November 21st, which would have been Tuesday. So I just think it's really neat that it actually hit a lower price during the after hours. So I'm wondering if that signifies that it will be going down to $6.50 during market hours at some point, or if that was just a little grab right below $6.52 at $6.50, and that could be a bottom. I suspect that it will be hitting $6.50 during market hours.
Wait,
which is unfortunate.
So, wait, the discrepancy is 2 cents.
For the holiday.
Wait a minute. What do we got now? I blanked out on that whole thing.
Ticker symbol AMC. Chart on the hourly time frame because it shows this low that occurred in the after hours on November 22nd, which I believe was Wednesday before the holiday. And the low is $6.50, which we don't see during market hours. The low during market hours is actually $6.52.
Okay, right. 652. So 2 cents. All right. 2 cent discrepancy.
That is what happened, but now we are seeing all-time lows with 652. And I should note that on November 21st, that was the Tuesday, I noticed a lot of bearish sentiment on social media coming from influencers, other YouTubers, talking about how the price has just plummeted and it's just terrible. So many retail investors, got duped into this. But I view it as you don't want to be discouraging people when something's at a low price, because that can represent some of the best buying opportunities. I thought it was cheap below.
Oh dear. Oh man. Okay.
See it with a closing price of $6.90.
So if people had listened to your bottom at 8, I'm just trying to put this together in my head here, they'd be down $2 a share at this point. Okay. But, don't discourage people from grabbing those good deals. Holy shit. All right.
Seems like a discount. Will price go lower?
Oh, man, that fucking word, discount. Discount. Okay.
Said... Oops. Closing price of $6.90. That to me seems like a discount. Will price go lower? Quite possibly. But, with that being said, it's nice to be seeing shares at such a discounted price relative to when they were $11 just a couple weeks ago. And so, looking at
this is questionable.
White downtrending line based on the close from September 8th, which was $7.18, and then also the close of November 21st, which was $6.65.
Your guess is as good as mine, Model 3 dude. I don't know.
And so it
is degen ed after all. That's what I'm going with.
Or approximately that. You could instead connect from the lows of those 2 days. However, I think this is nice. You get 4 touch points between these 2 candles at the beginning, 2 candles at the end, or I guess I should say 2 tails at the beginning and end. And so I do suspect that, especially because the week closed below $7, that seems to me like it will be a significant level of resistance, not only because of a failed attempt to close above it. Let's see, including on that would be Wednesday. The close was at $6.99. So again, $7, 3 days closing below that level. It's going to be tough to break above that, I suspect. And so I suspect that next week we might be retesting this downtrending line and perhaps revisiting $6.52 or $6.50 during market hours. I also want to point out that with the RSI, on the day, November 21st, when that new all-time low was hit, the RSI was 29.51, so below 30, meaning that it is oversold. That's at a discount. However, if we look back when these lows were hit, when I believe $7.05 was the new...
Oversold at a discount. That's an interesting way to describe that. Okay.
September 11th, the RSI at that time was around just under 24. And so while we do have lower values here, the RSI could be lower. However, and just in recording this right now, I'm just thinking about it. If we do have lower lows forming in the price, but then higher lows forming in the RSI, that represents bullish divergence. So we'll have to see what happens in the coming days. But this could signify that this is a bottom, or perhaps...
No comment on that bullish divergence.
Bottom, and that we might be seeing some of these levels being tested to the upside. And to go over those briefly, so I had mentioned $7 and $7.50. I think those will be notable levels of resistance. And I think that because of this consolidation that we see over here, I don't really think that let's see. I don't really think that $8.36 is going to be a significant level of resistance because it's going to be tough to just get up to that level. But once it does, I think that will be support because you have all of these highs, all of this consolidation that will serve as support once we're above $8.36 or approximately that level. And then going up to
blah, 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 technical analysis, blah, 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 blah.
It's going to serve as resistance.
It's an incomplete analysis. It's splitting hairs.
Gap is filled.
There's no difference between 650 and 652. There's no difference between 5 points on an RSI. That's not a bullish divergence. No. Come on, dude. This is all you've got. Okay.
Back maybe to 836 before continuing up to get into the $11 area, hopefully breaking above 1143 and negating this topping tail so then we can then move higher. And so those are my thoughts on the stock. If you found this helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.
Okay. Sure. Well, you know what? Since, yeah. Do you say that AMC already bottomed at 670, 705? I have no idea. But I probably wouldn't call it a bottom because I don't think the overall market's at anywhere near a bottom. So just going off of that, but I don't think so. I don't think so. But since we're kind of talking about that, let's pop over to the futures. And I see that the futures are down 0.3 on the NASDAQ, 0.2 on the S&P, and about 0.25% on the Russell. So that's cool. Dollar making its climb back up, which you have to sort of, I think you have to sort of see this as a bottom here in the dollar. Speaking of bottoms. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but that's where we are right now. So just kind of looking back through this area here through the earlier part of the year. Pretty good foundation. Let's see. Let me get back to a better view here. All right. So we'll see what happens with this. Model 3 dude says you're going to see $5 next week as AA completes his company sale of stock into the market. Notice I did not say stock dump. Noted. How many shares he got to from $6.90 to $5. Goodbye to your $7 calls, probably. I mean, yeah, probably, sadly. Maybe if they were for January 2025, right? Okay. Let's pop back over to some videos. And I've been waiting for this one too. This is Uncle Frank. We're going to hear about swans, okay? We're going to hear about culturally diverse swans, black swans, white swans, yellow swans. They're all here. He's got them all the swans.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to hear my trading and market updates. This is Uncle Frank, and I'm not a financial advisor, nor is any of the content to be construed as financial advice. This channel is for entertainment.
And we will run him on 1 1/4.
The presentation, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you're alerted when I have new information to share.
1 1/2.
For the latest updates.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. I want to start out this important episode with a quick look back to a Zero Hedge article titled, Goldman's Hedge Fund Honcho Reaffirms.
Oh, Zero Hedge.
But He goes on to say, stick with length in the highest quality parts of the market while resisting the temptation to chase a rally in the junk. Now, guys, pay close attention. Exactly who is speaking? Is this just Goldman Sachs or is it the head hedge fund guy over there, right? Okay, we know these guys are way over their skis on short positions, and I'm going to prove it to you by reading the lower article. Russell 2000.
I don't know about that.
Explode to all-time high in short crushing rip fest. Realizing they are far too short the Russell to cover cash single names and go long, hedge funds did the next best thing they could. Bought a shitload of calls and then bought even more calls. Now, guys, pay attention to what this article is really saying. Depending on which Russell we're talking about, these are the small caps, the micro caps, right? They are so short they can't cover. So they did the next best thing they could. They bought calls. Now let's go back up to the article on top. What Goldman is saying is, hey, we think there's going to be a rally. We don't want one, but we think there's going to be one. And what we want you to do is only invest in the highest quality parts of the market. Resist the temptation to chase a rally in the junk. You know, all the stocks that we're short. He even puts a chart up showing what he really wants. He wants that crash. He wants that market down. Okay, you have to ask yourself, is this guy telling me what's best for me or what's best for Goldman Sachs and the hedge funds? Okay, you've got to tear these articles apart to see what's really behind them. Now, I'm really excited about this coming week, and I have lots to share with you. The Beyonce film will premiere in LA tonight and in London on Thursday. The official release will be Friday, of course, along with Godzilla -1, which earned a perfect Rotten Tomatoes score, by the way. Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll get new home sales, but we're also going to be getting a lot of news about how the consumer did over the Black Friday weekend. Tuesday, the 28th, 9 a.m., Case-Shiller Home Price Index, but more important, at 10 a.m., consumer confidence. Wednesday, a big number, 8:30 a.m., GDP, and advanced retail and wholesale inventories. GDP, very important. But now,
okay, so why do we care about the perfect Rotten Tomatoes score on a movie that has not been released yet? I don't really understand that. That's great, but it won't be perfect once the movie comes out. It probably isn't. Probably already not perfect. So I don't really understand the point of that. That's nothing, non-anything. Okay.
Swan on that day because it's a minefield for the hedgies. We get some surprise results here indicating further cooling of the economy. We could get a face-melting rally to the upside, burning our trapped short hedgies at 8:30 a.m. Initial jobless claim. Income and spending.
Trapped.
We get the whole data group on PCE, core index, all that, and then at 10 a.m. pending home sales. Of course, Friday, we've got Beyonce dropping, and hopefully before that, we get some indication of how that show is selling out in the theaters. Let's jump briefly to the AMC chart, where the real story to me is volume. AMC closed at 690, down 9 cents or 1.29%. We're down nearly 65% over the past 3 months and just under 90% year over year. Top to bottom, the upper indicator I wanted you to see is MFI, or Money Flow Index. It's better at calling tops than it is at bottoms, in my opinion, but the story here is it's way, way down and may be signaling a reversal. I added some red arrows showing how it calls tops with stunning accuracy. It's at an extremely low number right now of 22.64, and hopefully it's forecasting a bounce for us, not investment advice or advisor. The overlay to the left is volume by price, and it's not as bad or red as I thought it would be. That's the big black arrow on the screen. What this undeniably proves is volume has been way up since the split and may also indicate something is brewing. This chart also proves to me the reverse split and conversion broke the amazing on-balance volume record of AMC, which is the lower indicator on your screen. Now, my subscribers know I'm rooting for surprise.
Broke it? I don't know what that means.
Short hedge fund pals in the short run. But I also watch the black swan because I have a lot of gold and silver bugs that can't wait for the world to collapse so they can fight it out.
There we go. See? White swans, black swans.
Steal their powdered meals they've got stacked up in the garage. From Zero Hedge again. Skyrocketing governmental debt threatens financial collapse.
So, anytime anybody uses one source, that's a red flag for me. Why are all of his articles coming from Zero Hedge? That's a biased source. It's not objective. And that's objectively speaking, it is not objective. It's known to be biased. I'm not saying don't read it or don't, whatever, but you have to have a diversity of sources. So this guy's a Zero Hedge guy. I get it.
We just read
conspiracy theorist
is running its largest deficit as a percentage of GDP outside of World War II period. Another great achievement. That's sarcasm. And next year, we are likely to see the greatest money creation out of thin air in the entire history of the U.S. The Fed has to create ways to finance the record deficits by the creation of new money. That, of course, has inflationary implications. And that will plunge the bond market again, making the bond disaster even worse. We recently explained to our members that the global bond market is $128 trillion. That is 120.
Wait, so let me get this straight. the federal government's running largest deficit as a percentage of GDP. Okay. We have the highest interest rates in however many decades in 2022 and 3. Next year, though, they're going to print more money to finance the record deficits, which will create more inflation, which will plunge the bond market again and make bond yields go up again. So they're just going to keep doing the same thing, keep doing the same cycle over and over. I'm not so sure, but I don't know what's going to happen. But and everybody's getting excited about, well, the Fed pivot. They're going to do QE again. Well, it's not hard to see why when people are taking these garbage articles at face value. Okay, anyway, let's continue, I guess.
We conservatively estimate that they have unrealized paper losses of at least 60%. Therefore, the loss on the global bond market would be a staggering $77 trillion. Uncle Frank, does this have anything to do with AMC? Of course it does. Many of our enemies are prime banks and brokers that have billions in unrealized losses on their balance sheets on top of billions in securities sold yet not purchased. The article continues. How will that be handled? The only way is to pretend that the losses don't exist and make sure that accounting rules don't force the losses to be realized by marking to market. Below is the long-term quarterly chart of the ETF for long-term UST bonds, or TLT. You can see that on the left. And it has broken well through the March 2020 crash low, as well as through the late 2022 low. It is now approaching the low of this decade in 2002. So far, the TLT has suffered a 53% decline during its 3.5-year bear market. Eventually, guys, they're going to have to admit it. This industry chart is getting better and better. Our total gross for 2023 is now officially over.
Oh, I was hoping that somebody would show this.
2021 and now 2022.
I was hoping.
We have over 504 releases, the first time since 2019 in the pandemic. And we're averaging 15.8 million capture per release. You'd have to go all the way back to 2010 to see numbers like that. Everything looks like it's heading in the right direction. And the good news at the box office continues. So far, Hunger Games broke its franchise record in week 2. The movie is projected to earn $42 million over the Thanksgiving weekend, making it the #1 movie at the domestic box office. And from Screen Rant, Ridley Scott's Napoleon is projected to open between $32 and $33 million at the domestic box office. The movie breaks a curse for the director, becoming his first adult-oriented or historical drama to open above $30 million in 13 years. Cinemark announced that it would be closing its theater in Enfield, Connecticut for good in early December. A manager confirmed Monday that the multiplex will be shutting its doors on December 7th. Meanwhile, AMC opened a new theater on Causeway Street in Boston. AMC announced the opening of AMC Causeway 13, the first new AMC to open in the Boston area since 2017. This AMC will be part of the hub on Causeway, the development on the site of the former Boston Garden. And a headline from MarketWatch. Global stocks are headed for their best month in more than 3 years as investors hope for Fed rate cuts. November has been a great month for investors, and not just those, primarily U.S.
Here's more of this garbage. Okay. Hey, Ben, I have the video that we're watching sped up because he speaks slowly. But I'll slow down. I can do that.
Traded stocks.
I'm not slowing him down, though.
America and beyond have rallied in November, helping to push one of the most popular benchmarks of international equity performance to the cusp of its best month in more than 3 years. And on topic from this past week, for the first time since the COVID crisis, there are more global rate cuts than hikes. 2 weeks ago, after Jay Powell essentially admitted the Fed would not hike anymore and that the July rate hike was the last one, Zero Hedge reminded its readers that it takes on average 8 months between the last Fed hike and the first rate cut, suggesting that the Fed would begin cutting rates in March, something the market quickly started pricing in and to which it currently assigns about a 30% probability and, as recently as a few days ago, 87% odds of a May rate cut. And here's
See these garbage narratives like this. This is, well, that's just what it is. It's garbage. Powell essentially admitted the Fed would not hike anymore and that the July rate hike was the last one. Okay. We reminded readers that it takes on average 8 months between the last Fed hike and the first rate cut. Well, that's great. Sure, the average, but each situation is different, obviously. These people and their averages, the right wing does not understand averages. Suggesting that the Fed would begin cutting rates in March, something the market quickly started pricing in. to which it currently assigns a 30% probability. Okay. But this ignores so many things. And I mean, we're just going to assume that nothing could change between December and March. I mean, between November of 2021 and, no, I'm sorry, between November of 2022 and March of 2023, what changed? A lot changed. You had the whole FTX collapse. You had the banking collapses in March. So this is foolish. It's stupid. It's propaganda. And I mean, not to mention the fact, and nobody wants to talk about it. No, literally nobody, except for the IMF, which is like, okay, but we don't care what these these international monetary institutions have to say, because they're all New World Order. We're part of the problem, right? But entertain me here for just a second. Nobody's talking about the relationship between corporate profits and inflation. Nobody. So what I'm saying is you have corporate profits on the upswing. Assuming that continues the way that these articles do, what happens? What happens when corporate profits resume growth? We get more inflation, which is anti of the fucking Fed's target, or Fed's objective. And inflation is sitting right now at 2 times the Fed's fucking target. So these discussions, if you want to call them that, it is the pigs frothing at the mouth. They can't stand. They can't stand it. Whatever. People can do whatever they want. I think it's incredibly stupid. And I of course, saying that the market is rallying, whatever. I guess you could say you are, missing out, or possibly, you're trying to, anyway. Now, Model 3 dude's mentioning holiday shopping. And, I was looking into that actually, because I've heard that. I've heard a lot of the, dead Black Friday sales, speculation, say it. But then I looked into it, and let me pull up this what you call it here. The numbers, I guess. And it turns out that, well, I'll tell you what. It turns out that, oh shoot, what am I doing here? Turns out that Black Friday was actually hit record numbers of 9.8 billion in the United States. Now, they're saying a lot of this was due to online sales. A healthy start to the holiday shopping season, at least online. And why did they do it online? Why did consumers opt to spend their money online rather than in the store? And, it's an interesting question. God, I've been watching too much Sam Bankman-Fried. Well, it's an interesting question. Yeah, it is an interesting question. But you know why, and I'll spare you the, pain of reading this article. Buy now, pay later. Buy now, pay later jumped 75% in this year's Black Friday activities. So, yeah, it's a healthy start to me is incredibly disingenuous. You already have record high credit card debt, and now people rolling things over to buy now, pay later. Affirm and all that garbage. Fake credit cards. So we have fake banks, we have fake credit, we have fake everything. So They're saying online sales was 70 billion globally. And the United States was 9.8 billion. And that's a 7.5% increase year over year from last year. Where's this money coming from? I don't know. Buy now, pay later firms, which, by the way, are unprofitable. Those firms basically were born out of zero interest rate phenomenon. And it's unclear as to how they're going to continue in a non-zero rate environment. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if the I don't know I honestly don't know. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting because yeah, apparently we're still breaking records somehow.
Recently as a few days ago, 87% odds of a May rate cut. And here's a little preview from Barron's. Black Friday was a hit online, reaching a record $9.8 billion in
That's the same article.
Is pointing to a healthy start to the holiday shopping season, at least online. Hey, I want to thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the like button after this.
Hey, all right. Hey. Okay. So this is what they put out beforehand. The National Retail Foundation forecasts 2023 retail sales to grow between 4% and 6%. Now, I don't know how this latest thing factors into that, really, but just happen to see the link there on that. What is the future of AMC? Do we still have a chance to recover our losses or move on? There's always an opportunity to move on. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll hold that. Well, we'll just hold that question, and I'll address that a little bit later. Okay. Let's move on to this one. And I don't know if Corax is here or not. Sonny, are you here? So, well, let me back up. I'm backing up. And by the way, thank you for hanging out here on Sunday evening. So yesterday we had there was a live stream regarding the lawsuit here. Very well sourced timestamps even in there. And I'll throw this in the chat window. I think that's it. I get it? Yeah. Okay. In case anyone would like to watch this 5-hour monster of a stream or check out the timestamps. But so this is basically, regarding the lawsuit, right? The big lawsuit, the big famous lawsuit, which has been systematically dismantled and basically put to bed. Okay, so you don't need to watch the live stream. I would suggest it, but what they did. So then we get Donahue George coming out with this video today. Al from Boston lawsuit has the AMC shorters in fear of losing their license to trade. Oh, okay. That's not what I heard about this lawsuit. Anyway, let's see what he's got. And here, by the way, Model 3 dude, here's your fake background.
This is not financial advice, not legal advice, for entertainment, educational purposes only. And anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. That being said, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff, so you get the videos I put them out. So you know I'm thinking, say, man, market so we can make bad trading decisions. Listen, the Al from Boston lawsuit is putting some pressure on these bad actors. Kohrs.
I don't know what basis there is to make that statement at all. Putting some pressure on the bad actors. No. I mean, did you read the lawsuit? Did you read it? I don't think he read it. Otherwise, he wouldn't say this.
Even
good God.
Defend these bad actors on these bad actors. Kohrs even started to defend these bad actors on YouTube. I mean, it's absolutely crazy that they're already getting a response. And CSI put out a video that had a little bit of
CSI.
And the defense is absolutely horrible, in my opinion. They're claiming that the acts weren't intentional or willful. They're claiming that the employer trained the employees better, and the employees were probably acting on their own. And it might be negligence, but negligence isn't a reason to lose your license to trade. This is absolutely crazy. That this
is this the same lawsuit? I don't know.
That these employees were breaking the law on their own with no supervision whatsoever from
I guess this
employers. This is absolutely crazy. You hear me? This is absolutely crazy. What this tells me, and I'm not telling you to buy, hold, or sell any bank stock. I'm not telling you to buy, or hold, or sell any stock at all. But the fact that they're already looking to put out a stupid defense out in the public tells me that they know that they are in trouble. They know that that lawsuit puts them under a lot of pressure, and they know they are at risk of losing their license to trade. The fact that they even mentioned that, because no time since I've been in this play has any of these bad actors even mentioned they could lose their license to trade. But the allegations made by Al from Boston is so strong that these bad actors
What? What is he talking about?
Way out of it, and their license to trade is on the line. The bottom line is this.
I mean, let's hear the... Okay, fine. Let's hear your fucking bottom line. Jesus fuck.
Al from Boston's lawsuit hit on some serious points about everything that went on in the last 30 months. A lot of things that didn't transpire when I filed my lawsuit, but they have so much specific information of bad acts by these criminals, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you're an idiot. You're a disgraced former disbarred fucking lawyer. You have no clue what you're talking about. And Lynn, it kind of seems like he's losing his shit, but look in his pocket. He's got a fucking cigar in his pocket. Is he seriously like celebrating? Like what in the fuck is this guy's fucking deal? This willful. He's engaging in willful brain deadness.
That they are very concerned.
Or maybe it's not willful. Maybe he's just, just the way he is.
Defenses looking for public opinion and stressing that they should not lose their license to trade, which tells me that they know that what they did or what they're accused of doing can risk their license to trade. Anyway, please leave some comments.
What license to trade? What are you talking about? License to trade? I mean, yeah, we should need licenses, and your ass wouldn't fucking have one. If this was a fair world, you would need a license, and your fucking ass would not be able to get one. Just like the license to practice law, which he also can't get, incidentally. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Let's see. Here we go. All right. This one's great, I think. This kid puts it all together. You know, I don't know how he does it, but he does.
All right, hopefully you guys have been liking the longer form videos where I cover AMC, GameStop, the overall market, as well as the trades we've been taking and some additional stuff to cover the video. So it's not just solely AMC, but remember, everything we do cover does affect AMC and GameStop. Now, we all are aware of how the FTDs didn't get reported for a couple of weeks for the first time. Now, this is the first time there hasn't been an update on the bank term funding program, which is at an all-time high at $113 billion, which is a program that was only designed for $25 billion. Do they need more time to cook the books? Well, this is exactly what we're going to get into.
Oh my God.
Cover is
Now, wait a minute. Let me go back here. We are all very aware of how the FTDs didn't get reported for a couple weeks for the first time. Yeah, wow, amazing. Now is the first time there hasn't been an update on the bank term funding program. Really? Okay. So, you know what I do. I looked it up. Bank Term Funding Program, right? There it is, BTFP. And then I just clicked on the first result, which is on the Federal Reserve's website. Pretty official, okay? Bank Term Funding Program. Yada, yada, yada. Paragraph, terms and conditions, frequently asked questions, reports to Congress. November 14th, 2023. Well, the hell, that was only less than 2 weeks ago. So they have an update from October, September, August, July, June, May, April, March is when the program started. So I don't know what this guy's talking about. It's the first time they haven't updated. There's a fucking report to Congress right here. And yes, it is here. Here's the report. And it talks about the amount. So I don't know what, I don't know why you can't just do a Google search, why you need something posted on Twitter or Fred or whatever else. I don't know. I don't get it. But these people are lazy and stupid. Okay. The narrative corrupt date. Yeah, that's who I'm going to use for my information. Somebody on Twitter named the narrative corrupt date, because you know this guy, formerly known as Darren Harper, thinks that he is incredibly clever with that name. The narrative corrupt date.
well,
that's a
this
good
is
one.
Exactly what we're going to get into.
Fucking clowns.
But first thing I want to cover is some stuff to do with AMC before we jump into banks, and then AMC's chart, data, and some solid stuff before we start the week. So all I ask you guys to do, of course, it's free. Please hit the like button. It helps me out. It's basically like $8 billion for the up to 20.
It costs you your dignity, though.
To it. So as my cat steps in the screen, it's basically like you guys are watching a movie, which brings me into the point that the box office has surpassed $8 billion for the year of 2023, which just shows that movie theaters are not going anywhere. This is the first thing that I wanted to cover. Not going to spend much time on it. Also,
well, nobody ever fucking said that they were going anywhere, kid, okay? That was something that you guys came up with to make yourselves feel better about making a bad investment, okay? Nobody said that movie theaters are going away. And because you believe that short sellers are trying to bankrupt companies, which is also false, you reinforced your fucking dumbass beliefs every time you watched one of these stupid videos or you engaged with one another on social media. But the reality is, no, thinking that something is overvalued is not the fucking same as saying that it shouldn't exist. But these guys don't make that distinction. So, of course it must be that short sellers want them to go away, which is stupid. They want every company to go away so that they can then trade, I don't know, marbles between each other. It makes no sense. But, you know, you've heard of a 10,000-foot view. This is like the opposite of that. It's like zooming in on a 10,000x microscope to one little speck of the picture. It's brain dead. It's dumb. All right, let's continue.
Institutions.
It's stupid. Let's keep going.
AMC at these
it's fascinating, though.
Is AMC about to hit its low that it will ever hit. And that is exactly why institutions are loading up. You guys let me know in the comments.
Yeah, just like saying that inflation is dead, the Federal Reserve's done hiking. This is premature bullshit. Everything always has a number, more dependent variables than you can even imagine right now. But is it going to hit the low that it will ever hit? Well, you don't fucking know that. You have no way of knowing that. No way of knowing that. Ugh, garbage.
You can see 20.7%.
And no, it probably hasn't.
Owned by institutions.
Why would you make that assumption?
AKA
Every other assumption that you've made has been wrong.
Weeble. Now, UBS is bankrupt and about to collapse. This is all fake. Shares are at all-time highs and CDSs are at new yearly lows. Lottery stocks, UBS is doing solid. Just look at their chart, right? They're climbing. UBS is doing great, except this isn't why they're going under. UBS is currently falling apart for a large quantity of reasons. However, a clear reason, which they even allude/admit to, was not conducting proper DD and internal process controls because of the hurried nature of the merger proposal thrust upon them by the Swiss government. Yes, in short, UBS is toast. An equity swap from March 3rd of 2021 is expiring this December on the 15th. The current price of the swap is $999 billion. Now pay attention to this. Archegos goes bust due to equity swaps. Then Credit Suisse goes down after they buy out Archegos. Guess who's dying after?
Look at this fucking logic here. Look at this fucking logic to try to connect this whole thing to GameStop. You got to be fucking kidding me. Oh my God. And look at that price. I don't even know. There's no link to this image. There's no link to this tweet. So I don't know what we're looking at. But I do know that it says notional amount right here. So I don't know what that is. God damn it. Okay.
Buy out Credit Suisse. UBS, right? UBS is buying out Credit Suisse, and you have been seeing a lot of problems happening with UBS. Moving on top of that, customers are furious after HSBC has been down for more than 24 hours. Customers were unable to access mobile and online banking for more than 24 hours. And it's not just a random day of inconvenience, you guys.
Well, that's what you get.
This is Black Friday.
For using HSBC. And I say it like that just to make fun of Thomas James. HSBC. I don't know. I got nothing on that. Let's see. So I see in UBS. Well, this is interesting. This is interesting here. We have UBS coming out 9 hours ago. Well, if it will load. It's literally not loading. I don't know. I'll try to load that and keep going.
Everybody wants their money from the bank. You can clearly tell this wasn't just a network error or some IT issue. The bank had to cause this disruption and tell people that it was a system issue. This is so hard to record with.
Oh, give me a fucking break. Like, no. That's not what that's not what the document says in front of you. It just says an internal system issue. Now, you're going to sit there and say that they had to do it. So they lied about it. It's a cover-up. Of course it's a cover-up. I wonder how many books this kid has read in total, ever. Like, do you not learn? Do you not read? Do you not know anything? Everything is a fucking conspiracy. Everything is false. Nothing is the way. Meanwhile, you're sitting on a massive fucking loss. Now, tell me those aren't correlated. You fucking brain dead zombies. Fucking hell. All right.
And tell people that it was a system issue. This is so hard to record with my cat wagging her tail. I'm trying to have her tail not hit the mic. You guys hear anything hitting the mic, which I don't think you have, I apologize. You will not leave me alone when I work Now, don't forget, Morgan
Nobody cares.
officially inherits this warehouse fire on Monday, December 4th. A lot of stuff happening coming into effect December 4th. The primary retirement account of E-Trade is going to be handed off, and there's a lot more stuff happening on that day. Plus, finally, the last touch on banks, of course, Argentina is closing their central bank. And
why is it being handed off? Follow through. You didn't explain anything about that. And we've seen these types of notices before from the DTCC, and they get all excited because, oh, Citadel's closing their account with the DTCC. Well, no. Actually, they're not. Things are consolidated. Things are moved around. Things are, cleaned up, whatever. But no, they didn't close their account with DTC. Why is this happening? Well, it's because Morgan Stanley, Smith Barney, LLC, and you can look this up. I did because I was curious about it. Well, what is this all about? This guy's leaving me with more questions than answers. I don't know. I didn't know. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney is assuming the operations of E-Trade. Okay, I didn't know that, but now I do. So essentially, it's a nothing burger, like all of this shit. Nothing fucking burger. Of course, they're closing an account that's listed in the name of E-Trade because they're not doing it.
Plus,
oh my God.
Last touch on banks, of course, Argentina is closing their central bank, and there is no ifs, ands, or buts, no negotiations about it. Finally, HKD is pumping once again. We always see a lot of weird stuff happening when HKD starts pumping. Market has been in a climb. Our short squeeze plays have been in a dive. It may be time for something to change, and this just may be the first signal of it. Moving on, I hope this gives you guys some,
wait, what was that?
Over the weekend, this is what's happening. It's not just a play. Has been in a climb. Our short squeeze plays have been in a dive. It may be time for something to change, and this just may be the first signal of it. Moving on, I hope this.
Ken Griffin, Citadel Securities pumping the Chinese Ponzi scheme for collateral, again known as HKD. Oh, that's what happened the first time? It was Ken Griffin. Of course it was. Edward Britchuk. This clown belongs in jail. He's been misleading people on social media for 2 years. I don't know who it is, but 99% of what they've posted that I've seen is garbage. It's an offshore shell company located in France. Wall Street fraud. Ken Griffin lied. Ken Griffin is Bernie Madoff. Okay.
Maybe time for something to change, and this just may be the first signal of it. Moving on, I hope this gives you guys some, peace of mind over the weekend. This is what's happening. It's not just a play that...
Why would this give anybody peace of mind?
AMC and GameStop are trying to break the corrupt market, okay?
What? Oh, they're trying to break the corrupt market. Yes, that's what they're trying to do. No. No, because if you listen to your colleague grifters, they're saying that Aron is trying to kill the fucking squeeze. And Ryan Cohen, over in GameStop, who the fuck knows what they're trying to do? So how exactly are they trying to fix the market? It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. None.
I love this analogy here. I'm going to post it on the YouTube community post as soon as the video is done. But I just love this analogy. Might honestly be worth slapping on a shirt. Now, I found this very odd. Okay, well, first of all, starting the week, AMC has about 4 million shares available to borrow against it, and no calls apparently expiring in the money. The options chain is still messed up, but the short exempt volume, 6.
Well, that's because you're using some freaking Mickey Mouse website that gets all of its data from other places, by the way, and which we could say that short shares available to borrow data is incredibly limited, as it only covers interactive brokers, but these clowns never mention. But I love how they always get all hot and bothered. Oh, somehow there's 4 million shares available. Magically, they print it. No, it's called returned fucking shares. It's how the system works. It's like a library. Again, you wouldn't know because you don't read. But you have a book for a limited amount of time. As long as you need to read it, then you return it. It's the same fucking thing with short borrowed shares. How is it so hard to understand? Oh, they just printed 4 million more. God damn it.
61,000 for November 24th. This is the lowest I think I've ever seen it on AMC. Very odd. And then GameStop as well.
Well, no, it's not actually that odd either. That's not that odd either if you understood what short exempt actually meant, which you don't, which you have been misleading people about for months. Is it that weird that the fucking volume on any volume metric would be lower on the day after fucking Thanksgiving? I mean, give me a fucking break. The market was only open for a shorter period of time. What an idiot.
This is the lowest I think I've ever seen it on AMC. Very odd. And then GameStop as well.
Yeah, very, very odd.
In the
God.
Options chain.
No.
And these short exempts, 800 and 700. I'm not too sure what to say about this. One thing I want to say is taking a step back because you know what we're tracking on the daily time frame. AMC on the weekly, I think we're closer than you guys might have thought based off of what I talked about on the daily time frame.
What?
Looking at the weekly time frame, this is sort of where
it looks terrible.
Okay. This is sort of where we're.
This looks like shit. Like, this is not a bullish chart. This is all fucking frenzied speculation that is gone. All this. Look at your pump. Here's your pump right here. See these volume candles? That's why this happened. That's it. That is why this price ran up. And the rest of it, everything after that, was people taking profits out of this. People taking money off the table. And now you're left with basically nothing on the table. All of that excess, all of this excess has been removed. All of this inefficiency has been worked out. What reason is there to think that this would happen again? If you just think about what reasons this happened in the first place. You don't need to think about technical analysis. You don't need to think about averages or RSI or any of that garbage. And it is mostly garbage. Why did this happen? And is that likely to happen again? And I say no. Most certainly it is not poised to happen again. Even if we have another global pandemic. It won't play out the same way that it did here. And we might have some, highly irrational moves like this, but it won't happen in the same asset. It won't happen in the same securities. It won't happen in the same areas. It doesn't work like that. That would be too, we say, obvious. It just doesn't work like that.
We're sitting back here, right? AMC, same.
I'm speeding them up.
With what we've
fair warning, I'm speeding them up.
From a weekly standpoint, we're just a few weeks away from something major happening. And the only reason I say that is because I know you guys don't like lottery stocks. You say this all the time. YouTube say this all the time, but the cycle is going to be the last cycle. If they put it through another cycle, it's going to be really bad, right? It goes towards the list.
Well, I slowed him down again because it was just so kind of ridiculous. But yeah, YouTubers do say this all the time.
And the only reason I say that is because I know you guys don't like lottery stocks. You say this all the time. YouTube say this all the time, but the cycle is going to be the last cycle. If they put it through another cycle, it's going to be really bad.
Now, how does that make sense? It's going to be the last cycle. So it's just going to stop trading, or it's not going to use the supposed cycle, which is non-existent anyway. It's imaginary. It's a Rorschach cycle. That's what it is. They see these ink blots on the screen, and they see a cycle in it. That's what it is. It's all imaginary, essentially. We can divine patterns out of anything. That's kind of what our brains do. They try to figure out patterns. To the ape's demise, honestly, because it's not that hard. It's not that difficult. It's not that hidden to see what the scenario is here. If you're open to it. If you're not, if you're closed off in a box where this is going to happen, doesn't it make sense that everything that you say, everything that you look at, because your brain is trying to make these connections and make these rationalizations, because you want to believe it. Doesn't it make sense that it would drive toward the assumption that you already hold? Yes, it would. And that's not me saying this. This is just basic psychology. So anyway.
It goes towards the listing, or it turns into a stock like MULN, which is not what you want to see. So we may be closer to the squeeze than you actually think. As for GameStop, looking at it compared to AMC's chart, it hasn't had the nosedive that AMC had, right? It had sort of the nosedive coming all the way down to where AMC's kind of at, like right about here, but it hasn't had this flush. And I think GameStop is still due for the flush before getting the squeeze. All in my opinion, not financial advice.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Before we get into some additional stuff, a quick break for the Moomoo Investing app. If you guys want 5.1% APY on your...
Jesus Christ.
This in my long term, and it's been... You guys will not regret it. Now, a stock I wanted to put on your radar because I've been holding this in my long term, and it's been panning out very well. Mara and Riot, blockchain companies that are going to move when Bitcoin...
Oh, okay. What is this, 2021? Boy, I really feel like we are living in a carbon copy of 2021 anymore. They're talking about Bitcoin miners. They're talking... Good fucking God. Give me a break.
Rally, in my opinion, over the next year and a half, okay? Especially with...
Year and a half?
Mara
Fuck
is
off.
Starting to get a breakout. And this is just the beginning. I expect a spike in the chart over the next few weeks, as well as Riot. So just keep these on your radar. If you guys are in Mara or Riot, let me know in the comments down below. As for the Tesla trade, coming into this week, I just want to let you guys know I expect a retracement, and the calls I hold are for a long-term play, right? I'm holding all the way out to February right now, and I wouldn't mind even extending that, right? Rolling them over. Expect a retracement. It looks very...
Oh, good, yeah. Hold them right into the recession. You'll be fine.
For a retracement down to at least 221.50 before anything happening. If you want to play puts, you can. Very risky, not financial advice. I am not in puts currently, but just to let you guys know an update on the Tesla trade. Now, I want to point out a couple things. Microsoft broke out of this wedge, went higher than its all-time high. Is this a sign to show what the market is about to do? Because the market is touching the macro trend line, which would be right here on Microsoft, right? So is it going to get that breakout like Microsoft? It's hard to say because you take a look at Apple, for example, and it's also testing the macro trend line, the largest holding in the S&P 500, right? Also testing the macro trend line, getting a slight rejection. Buy up here, still dipping its toes into the 450 range. 450 to 460, I expected a retracement. We may get it sooner than we think. Take a look at how hard the volume is dumping off on the S&P 500. Also, the VIX hit a low, a relative low, that it has not hit.
Again, you had holiday trade this past week, so it's typical.
Volume decreasing, could be getting a reversal. Overall, next week, I wouldn't be surprised if that is when we get a retracement on the SPY. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying your weekend. I appreciate you guys tuning in day and day out. Let me know what you think of the long form videos where we cover everything. This video probably wasn't too long. I didn't want to make it too long. Happy Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. If you guys want to talk about the earnings, I posted them in Discord. Get in the Discord. Get your free stocks from Moomoo. I love you all. Lottery stocks out.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is a good one, I think. Well, good meaning terrible. First of all, we have infinite squeeze. So we have infinite misspelled by Benji. Gotta love that. Benji. Infinite squeeze. But they didn't misspell it here in the actual tweet that he's highlighting, so I don't know. Who knows? It's kind of weird, right? All right. Let me refresh this, see what the current numbers are on it. Just out of curiosity. Oh, still only 7 likes. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, Benji has sure fallen from grace. All right.
And squeeze. They need your shares without your share. Infinite squeeze. They need your shares without your shares. The hedge funds can't close their short positions.
Wait, it's been a minute since we've heard this. They need your shares. They need your shares. Without your shares, the hedge funds can't close their short positions. Billions of synthetics, allegedly. Liquidation, transfer of wealth, black swan event, transfer of power. It's inevitable. # AMC. I don't know why he put allegedly in quotation marks. That's the most objectively accurate word in this whole tweet. Allegedly. But they can't close their short positions without your shares, or they can't afford to close their short positions at large. I mean, that's what we hear all the time usually. They can't afford to cover their shorts, which makes no sense if you understand how short selling works. But motherfuckers, all right. You apparently you can't cover shares, short shares with synthetic shares, apparently, which is handy because there's no such thing. But, you know, details, facts, who knows?
Synthetics, allegedly. Liquidation.
All right, let me go back.
They need your shares. Without your shares, the hedge funds can't close their short positions. Billions of synthetics, allegedly. Liquidation. Transfer of wealth, black swan event, transfer of power. It's inevitable, and it's only a matter of time. Comment down below if you agree. AMC shorts are realizing that bankruptcy is off the table. For a long time now, they've been attacking Aron hard, using the illegal manipulated price to try and get the apes to turn. That's their last hope.
I mean, this guy is the king of using 2-month-old fucking tweets as supposed sources for anything. September 18th, and this video came out on November 25th. Benji, what the fuck?
So division amongst apes. We've seen it before, just be aware of it, that's all. Very well said. This ape says, keep focused and your eyes on the prize, AMC. And a lot of good vibes in this post. It says the money is coming, the new car is coming, the new...
Well, it's because they're Canadian.
Breakthrough is coming, the financial freedom is coming.
Look at this. Remember your why. The money's coming, the new car is coming, the new home is coming, the divorce is coming. The, all those hookers are coming. The big bag of drugs is coming. Don't worry. Financial freedom is coming. What in the fuck? What in the fuck? All right.
Business is coming. Comment down below what else.
This is bad, y'all.
There's a lot of good things to be excited about. This ape says math isn't math in our corner of the stock market, and it sure doesn't seem like it at times. They said AMC is the first stock in history where 80% of the float is locked, meaning that 80% of the float is owned by retail investors or more. And for the most part, the holders are just continuing to hold their shares. They're not really trading them. Personally,
nope.
Sold a single share of AMC that I've owned since I bought my first share years ago. Now, on top of that, 40% is on loan.
Well, you don't need to because you're a YouTube grifter. You don't need to sell any AMC shares to get money because you have money coming in every month from your lies online. So, what are you saying? Huh? But there's a scavenger here. Look at this. First stock in history where 80% of the float is locked. Well, no, it's not locked. It's not how it works. 40% is on loan. Is that what it is? I don't know. 25% is shorted. I don't think that's correct either. And 50% has failed to deliver. I don't think so either. I mean, and is it that much of a surprise that a stock would be quote unquote oversold if it has a high short interest? I don't know. This is just so stupid. Like this kid, I don't know. I can't call him a kid. I can't call Scavenger a kid. He's an adult. He knows better. I'm trying to find the Ortex guy on Reddit. God, what a jungle that is. So, this guy, Jay Drukas on YouTube, on Reddit, it has got to be paid by somebody. I don't know exactly what's going on with this guy, but I mean, look at this garbage. This is so stupid. Having fun shooting down shorty bots. Newest FUD being sold to shorty is realized gains on short position. LOL. Some say someday open and close 3 weeks after stopped trading. Man, these shorties are now coming after one another. I don't know what the fuck he's trying to say here. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Excuse me. Charles Schwab. Bed Bath & Beyond bankruptcy. Realized gain or loss. I mean, okay, a short position on 70 million shares. So what? Philip Alderson. Great. Okay, cool. Like, as if that matters at all to anyone else. Doesn't matter to anybody's P&L except for that person. Like, this guy, supposedly some kind of baby boomer? Some kind of adult? Like, are you kidding me? What a clown. Posting all this shit every fucking day. Well, this is from Friday. Short interest, 13%. 13 fucking percent. Nowhere close to 25. Right? All right. Let's get through this.
5% is short.
Get through this.
And 50% is in fails to deliver. And it's oversold. If you take it all into consideration, this play does seem more and more bizarre by the day. It seems to be that there's some massive manipulation going on. And hopefully only a matter of time.
Yeah, or you just don't know what the fuck you're doing. And you're literally highlighting Reddit posts that highlight tweets. That's your source. It's not even directly to Twitter. You can't even go directly to Twitter. You have to go to Reddit first. That's fucking retarded.
Time until this whole thing gets sorted
out. It's retarded.
Taylor Swift at AMC is an absolute game changer. Now, a lot of apes are saying that this is going to be the singular thing that's going to take AMC to new levels. And although I definitely think that it's going to be a massive part of it, I still think that there's still so many aspects to AMC fundamentally and all the new business and revenue streams that are also going to take AMC.
What about the 50% higher concession costs for some reason? We don't know why.
I personally agree with a lot of it. I think that this Taylor Swift partnership with AMC is going to...
Shut the fuck up. All right. Boy, I'm going to be saying that. I'm going to be saying that a lot in this one, I feel. Oh my God. I'm just going to have to come out with a shut the fuck up rule.
YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over what Aron just tweeted today on November 24th. But before I do get into that, make sure to go down and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're on our way to 900 apes, 900 AMC investors. So today I bought another 50 shares. I averaged down. We were trading at around $6.90.
Case in point, he averaged down. He averaged down. Congratulations. Good job.
80 cents throughout the whole day. We're still down over 30% from $10, around 40% from our high of around $11.40. It's just been really bloody, but with Beyonce coming out now in about a week, I think just like...
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not going to go back and verify this because I don't care that much, but it sure seems like his tone has changed a little bit here. He has more of a subdued, I don't know, downtrodden type of tone in his voice. I don't hear the overconfidence. I don't hear the same cockiness and unabashed narcissism teeming from his words. I don't hear it. Listen to this.
From $10, around 40% from our high of around $11.40. It's just been really bloody, but with Beyonce coming out now in about a week, I think just like our Taylor Swift run over here when Taylor Swift was coming out around November 13th, I think the same thing is going to happen. I mean, I don't see us going lower. It's possible for us to go to $5. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't see it happening. I really think a reversal is coming here for good this time, which is why I've personally been loading up at...
Based on what? Why? For good this time. So that must mean long term. Everything's fixed, right? What's the basis for this? No, it's a belief simply to uphold a narrative. I mean, I haven't heard a fact yet. Well, I guess I have heard one. You know, you're down 40% from $10, whatever. I guess those are facts. Not the ones we're looking for here. Taylor and Bay aren't going to save your broke ass from being a broke ass. See what I did there? I Benjified what Lynn wrote. I added to it the way Benji does. I got to stop listening to him. Okay.
Price because this is the lowest AMC has ever been in history. We're trading below 70 cents before the split. Today the market did close early, so it wasn't anything crazy. We opened up around $6.98. We hit a high of $7.03 and a low of $6.82. So it was kind of just a boring day. We were just pretty flat. But come Monday, I really do believe with Beyonce coming out that we're going to see a reversal back up.
So Monday. So come Monday. All right, cool. So tomorrow, mark it on my calendar. Check AMC. See if it pops up by 1,000%.
Around $10 and higher for the rest of the year. I mean, it's almost December, guys. This is just the lowest AMC has ever been, but AMC is making the most cash we have ever made. It doesn't make sense at all, guys. I really do think something...
Well, that's not true. That's certainly not true. Not even close to being true. I mean, your net income was negative, bro. You are not making cash. Your net income was negative. Like, let's be clear about it. Net income is negative. It is negative. You are not making a profit. You might be taking in more money. I don't even know if that's true. But you're not making more money than you ever have. You're not losing as much as you've ever lost either. Not if that's any consolation, but no, you're not making money.
Especially with how low it is. I mean, a lot of people are just loading up right now. But let's go ahead and get into what Adam Aron just said. So today at around 9 in the morning, he said, incredible attention for Beyonce's new creation, including a surprise on Thanksgiving Day. Hey Beyonce fans, the final movie edit is a wonder. Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, is simply stunning. Opens Friday, December 1st, early access screening on Thursday, November.
Like, that's the best picture that they could come up with for this from Entertainment fucking Weekly. I just like, what? Yeah, that looks awesome. Let me tell you, it looks fucking amazing. I can't believe they went to all this expense. What the fuck?
So it's coming this
That is
Friday,
boring.
guys. So this guy Alpha Omega tweeted under an incredible attention to the naked shorts, the blatant manipulation of our stock, the multiple times on the threshold list that mysteriously disappears with no change in our price/price action. Are we just gonna keep looking the other way till your shareholders have bled out? I mean, we already did bleed out. Most of us are down.
It's not worth the time to do any of this. Absolutely not. No, it's not. This one is just... This kid was so confident a few weeks ago. We're just checking in on him. Want to make sure he's doing all right. But no, none of this is worth it. There's really no reason for me to even be doing this anymore, to be honest with you. I think pretty much everything that needed to be said was said in 2021. Unfortunately, my channel got deleted, so I lost all my videos. And you know, you can blame YouTube for your losses on AMC. I think that's valid. I mean, because my videos were not accessible. People didn't have any way to know that AMC was a massive scam. So go after Google. That's my suggestion. But no, it's not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
About 90%. It's getting ridiculous, guys. But today, I'm not going to go into any Reddit today like we usually do. I'm going to just go under
Good.
Adam Aron said today. This guy said, you're the man, Adam. So I guess we got like half this, half that. Half of the apes love Adam Aron and half of the apes hate this bastard. So this guy said, no one cares, dude. We care about being under 70 cents and you doing nothing but ignore the catastrophic losses of your shareholders while ducking the...
Also, another thing is, I don't read any of this stuff on Twitter. Like, ever. So it is a way for me to see that stuff, because I'm not going to go and read Adam Aron's tweets. You know, it's just, I'm not going to do it. So by doing this, I kind of kill, multiple birds. But yeah,
publicly, I'm thankful.
It is pretty pointless.
Can't wait for you to be deposed. So people are really hating this guy right now. I mean, who wouldn't be mad at him? But it's about to get real, guys. Thank you for all you do.
people who understand like the function of a CEO probably wouldn't be. But, you know, at the end of the day, do I care about Beyonce? No. Do I think this is going to have any material effect on it? Of course not. You know, of course not. Because, I mean, the Taylor Swift thing didn't. But, you know, there we go. Done. That was much better. All right. I got one more AMC video, and then I have the feature presentation, which will play us out essentially of the stream. But we're not done yet. So we already heard this, though. Actually, we already heard that. We already heard this topic. We heard that topic. We already heard about UBS. We heard about the concessions, which we don't know why they're higher. Let's see if there's anything new, and we'll just go ahead and get to the taking down the short sellers, right? Jesus Christ. All right, here's one. Ape Father does 2 shots of cream. Oh!
Some people like cream in their coffee. I definitely do. But I also like to do shots of cream. Salud.
Oh my God.
Gin Donny.
Is this guy trying to kill himself?
Some people like
wow
coffee. I definitely do. But I also like to do shots of cream. Salud.
Well, I mean, I don't know. So this reminds me of one other Ape Father that we really, you know, we love. It's right here. You may have heard it in our.
Everybody in the movie theater. You can't kill Michael Myers. It's impossible. But what you can do is buy AMC stock. Millions coming, baby. AMC stock. You want to be a millionaire? AMC. I'm an ape. They call me the Ape Father, baby. You can't kill Michael Myers, but you can become a multi-millionaire.
This girl right here is not having it. She is not amused. She's not impressed. She's like, what the fuck?
Millionaire, baby. AMC in the house. Wow!
And of course, that smirk at the end. Classic, right? Okay, so I was thinking about everything that's been going on lately, and what with the sentencing of Sam Bankman-Fried and all this, and crypto. And I just kind of got the idea the other day to just kind of go back and look at some of the interviews that Sam Bankman-Fried gave over the last couple of years, like when he was, you know, not a complete fraud. Before he was known to be such. And so I found this interview. This is from April 1st, which is kind of, you know, like, you're joking, right? It couldn't be more perfect. It's from April 1st, 2021, on Blockworks Macro, which, I mean, all right. So, you know, there's so many great moments in here. But I figured I would just pick it up here at this section. He's talking about, this is the end of where he's talking about his arbitrage trade, supposedly. We even know if that's real. I don't know. We don't even know if that's real. And it rolls into him talking about market making on crypto, the crypto market, and why he started an exchange and all this kind of stuff. And so we have the benefit now. Excuse me, we enjoy the benefit of knowing that he was lying, which is an interesting position to be in. So we can listen to what he's saying and put it into this context now. I just think that, you know, if nothing else, it's fascinating because you know that he's full of shit. And maybe people did then, but they didn't know it. They suspected it highly, potentially. I had never even heard of this guy until basically last year. And then I listened to, I heard some, some of the hype. It was before the collapse. I heard some of the hype. I listened to a couple, clips of him talking. I thought, this guy's an idiot. What? There's no way this guy, whatever. I don't care. Crypto sucks. And then it all blew up. So whatever. But now we know. So let's just check out a few minutes of this here, and I may pop in with some thoughts and pointing out some of the irony here, because it really is. The irony is just so delicious. All right. So this is from April 1st, 2021. Sam Bankman-Fried interview talking about himself, FTX, and everything else. So here we go.
Like it was going to work eventually. I think like maybe the Litecoin trade on Coinbase or GDAX at the time. So you remember it was like late 2017.
Yeah.
It's like a week or two.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I don't remember why it happened, but the U.S. just went nuts over Litecoin.
There was like a 20% premium on GDAX at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was. And so we sort of saw that and we're like, can we just do that? And we tried we hit GDAX withdrawal limits was what stopped us. So we had like $10,000 a day. So it's like, all right, eventually all your money is just dollars on Coinbase waiting to be cycled out. And and steady state you're only doing 10,000 a day. But it became clear all of a sudden that if like we'd managed to get our withdrawal limits raised before that week, it would have been an amazing week. And I think that was the point at which we're like, all right, we are pretty sure that that's just luck. That like it could have been the case that we got our limits raised before that week happened. Like I think that was sort of the point at which I started to feel like, all right, we've never quite nailed a trade yet, but basically started to feel like I feel pretty convinced at this point that if we keep plugging away at this, we will.
Yeah. So now so the trade goes away, but now you've got a bunch of money and you've got a bunch of smart people and you've got Alameda Research, who I heard this funny story. Someone told me that the name Alameda Research is because you needed a bank license, and research is like the most safe thing that you can get.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like we knew banks were going to shut us down because before Silvergate didn't exist, Signature, there were not yet U.S. banks that were happy with crypto. Instead, there are just a lot that did not want to have to fucking think about it.
Yeah.
And we just knew that was going to be a thing, and that if we named our company like Shitcoin Day Traders Inc., like they'd probably just reject us for the bank account, or whatever. The teller would accept this because they don't care. But
it kind of turns out that that's what they were.
You'll do with that.
Shitcoin day traders.
Totally. Everyone loves research.
Jesus.
Okay, so now Alameda, we're a few years later, right? Alameda is basically, the Moby Dick of crypto whales, right? You guys are responsible for like, I don't know the real numbers, these, like 10% of what feels like crypto moving in the markets at any one time. Which, this means you guys...
So they manipulated the markets, okay.
Move markets, cause liquidations. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, and you never want to be intentionally moving markets. You never want to be doing something because of the impact it will have. Basically, what you want to be doing is finding ways to provide liquidity. Finding places where there's excess demand and not enough supply, and being there. And so... But not to sort of like intentionally cause movements, or anything like that.
There's this argument that market makers add value to the world by providing liquidity, right? And so you can have a positive impact on the world because if you're a hedge fund, you make markets more efficient, you bring down prices when there are premiums. Do you buy this? Do you believe this? I know that technically you do that, but is that adding value to the world?
So I believe it, but I mean that's without making a claim about how important it is, like about how big of an impact it has. Like it may be a small one, it may be a very small one, and this is only describing sort of legitimate market making behavior. But yeah, I think the basic argument is something like, look, if you're doing arbitrage, that means there's too much demand in some place, which is why it's trading too high. Someone's getting ripped off because of that. And if you can get there and provide liquidity, you'll make the spreads lower, you'll get them a better fill, and you'll make market pricing more efficient everywhere. Fewer transaction costs, more accurate predictions of future prices. And so to the extent that markets can help bring liquidity and information to the world, you're helping enhance both of those. Is like the outline of the argument, and I basically do buy it. Although again, it's like sort of a second order effect. So that's not necessarily to say that it's like the most important thing for the world or anything.
Yeah. I was having the debate with a friend over whether or not short sellers, like hedge funds that only go short, are valuable or not valuable. And I was taking an argument against the value added to the world, and he was arguing for them being quite valuable.
Oh, I'm so not surprised by that.
Yeah, I think the right prior is that they're valuable. Now, you could maybe you study them, you're like, okay, but these guys in particular, these guys are fucking idiots, or these guys are like malicious or something.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that they're like
it's a spectrum
necessarily valuable.
Yeah.
But I think the prior is that would be your guess.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into what everybody wants to know about, which is FTX, which Mike Novogratz.
Oh, here we go.
Asked him about FTX, and he said FTX is the most innovative exchange, not just crypto exchange in the world, but exchange, period, in the entire world. What's the backstory behind FTX? You've got Alameda. You guys are making money. Why'd you guys go launch this thing?
So it was like late 2018, and I always wanted.
This is so good
because they just seemed like really important products in the crypto ecosystem that were worth a lot, played a really big role, and were not necessarily even the hardest to build. Sort of that combined with just an extremely large amount of frustration with the current products. Some of this was almost a like, if you won't fucking fix your product, I will do it for you type thing. There's like 2 exchanges whose derivatives together more than half of all crypto volume. And it was just a total mess. I mean, it's like $350 million of customer funds lost to improper liquidations that year.
Oh, that's all? 350 million? Hold my beer, SBF said. I mean, this is... I love this.
There was, impending lawsuits. There's matching engines that couldn't keep up. There's just this notion which crypto still hasn't fully unlearned, although it's making progress, which is that you should have 500 different wallets within a single exchange. That like, if you want to trade Ethereum futures and then you want to trade Bitcoin futures, you gotta buy some ETH, then put it in your ETH wallet, then take it out, trade for Bitcoin, put it in your Bitcoin wallet. Yep. It's just like this useless mini game that like half your time is spent dealing with your collateral, and people are getting liquidated left and right because they forget about one of their wallets. Things weren't getting better, and eventually, like, look, it's just like at this point, we just definitely can build a better product. Like, it's just like these like too egregious, but
too egregious. It's too egregious, he said. Isn't that, I know, Lynn, isn't that fascinating? Like, it is more obvious, which I hesitate to use that word, but I think in this case it fits. And they, one of the major motivations to build FTX was out of frustration. Frustration of what, though? That you don't have endless capital to spend, that you're losing money, and, you want to be able to, exert influence. Frustration over what? That you don't have, crypto derivative products to trade? I don't know. It's interesting. Quite egregious.
That still doesn't mean it would be a success. Because maybe it would never get any users. And if you founded a crypto derivatives exchange today and had a great product, my guess is you would never get any users. How many people do you...
No, you wouldn't, because they'd think it was a scam. Quite frankly, because that's been the fucking precedent that's been set.
You get coming up to you begging you for another crypto derivatives exchange in this space?
Not many.
Like 0?
Yeah.
When was the last time you checked out? What is the like oldest or newest exchange that you've ever looked at seriously?
The newest exchange I've looked at is probably that I've actually used is probably FTX actually.
Yeah, and in fact, if you look at exchanges ranked by volume, FTX it's whatever number, like 3 or 4 or something globally. In order to get to an exchange newer than FTX, You need to go to like number 30 or 40
What,
or
like
something.
MX or something, or?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you get to this tier where you're like not even sure they're real.
Yeah.
And they're really damning things. Not
This section right here, right? He's talking about the newer crypto exchanges, newer than FTX, which are, if FTX was number 3 in terms of volume globally, then these newer ones are like number 30 globally. So he's talking about these newer exchanges that have lower volume right now. But the way that he says this
number
is interesting.
40
What,
or
like
something.
MX or something, or?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you get to this tier where you're like not even sure they're real.
Yeah.
And they're really damning things. Not only are you not sure they're real, like the world's not sure they're real, and it's never bothered figuring out. It's just like no one even cares that much.
Yeah.
And I think
The world hasn't bothered to figure out that they're not real because no one even cares that much. No one even cares. This is amazing because he's talking about himself. He's talking about FTX, which essentially wasn't real. And a lot of them may not have realized that it wasn't real. Of course, he did. And certainly the world hadn't figured out that it wasn't real. But also, it's very much true that nobody cared that much to even look, to even try to figure out whether they were real. Remember how Wall Street kept dumping money into this company. People like Kevin, Mr. Garbage, O'Leary. You know, even after the whole thing collapsed, said, I would still have given him money. I'll do it again because I'm Mr. Garbage. This is incredible. He's like, and it's so ironic. Wow. I'm going to roll it back. And we'll hear that whole section of context and I'll shut up.
yeah, and in fact, if you look at exchanges ranked by volume, you know, FTX it's whatever number like 3 or 4 or something globally. In order to get to an exchange newer than FTX, you need to go to like number 30 or 40
What,
or
like
something.
MX or something, or?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you get to this tier where you're like not even sure they're real.
Yeah.
And they're really damning things. Not only are you not sure they're real, like the world's not sure they're real, and it's never bothered figuring out. It's just like no one even cares that much.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few things. First of all, people just got bored of caring about new exchanges. But second of all, I think like this base got a lot better. Exchanges gotten a ton better in the last 3 years. And because of that, there's just a lot less demand. So I think that like not only do you need to get customers, but there's a race. And I think like we were right at the end. I mean, I think, you know, we founded spring 2019. For late 2019, I'm not sure anyone ever would have used FTX. Like, think it's possible we would have missed our
So
window.
you guys launched spring of 2019.
Yeah.
And when did you think about the idea of launching that? Like, when did you seriously think about it?
Late 2018.
Late 2018.
It was late 2018 when we made the call to start building it out.
So take us from late 2018 to spring of 2019. Like, how do you think about? I think what would be fascinating is basically the build versus buy conversations. Do we go white label custodians? Do we white label a matching engine, or do we build everything in house? What did you guys end up doing at the very beginning?
We felt pretty strongly that we were going to build everything, and the reason is partially that was our whole value prop was that we thought we could build a better product.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that means we have to build it. Like that's sort of like a lot of the point of it. But we actually had the opposite question of like, should we build a product that other people can white label? Like, should the goal of FTX be a back end that other exchanges can load up? And we talked to a lot of exchanges at the time about like, hey, like you don't have a derivatives exchange. All your friends do. Don't you want one? Hey, we've got one. We had some serious conversations, nearly pulled the trigger on one or two.
But why would you do that? Because you're basically eating into your own market share.
It's true. On the other hand, you know, this was, I don't know, two years ago. We didn't really know anyone in crypto exactly. We knew some players, like I sort of like knew like the employees of other exchanges, but I didn't know how to reach users, you know, and I didn't know how to even start that. And
what better way to reach users and to adopt this humble appearance
and if followers, I mean,
and everything that
my mom, ask her if she wants to trade.
Manuel said here.
I mean, but it really was just like, what's even step one here to getting users? On the other hand, here are these products who have, what, like 20 million users at the time? And those users are actively trading on the platform every day. And so we're sort of like, look, like it's just like a ton of value there. And them launching a great derivatives exchange, even if we only get half that or a third of that. And so that was sort of the thought behind it. Didn't really happen for complicated reasons, part of which was we ended up believing in ourselves more than we thought we would. Frankly, part of it was the FTT pre-sale. I think that was the first time that
the FTT pre-sale
really started believing that FTX might be successful.
they Jesus Christ. So he's talking about the pre-sale of their own air token or made-up token, FTT. Which gave them some legitimacy. Imagine
the FTT pre-sale.
Yeah.
When
and
because that helped, because people, you guys marketed it well. I mean you raised some money, which was always helpful.
Right. It was the signaling. It was just like what we took away from that was that other people thought this might be a success.
Do you think they believed in you guys because you had Alameda behind the firm?
Oh, I think
right?
I think it's a lot of it was, that, and also just that they some of them knew the team, and I think that was most of it. I don't think it was like a super sophisticated calculation at the time, but
no, it wasn't a super sophisticated calculation at the time. Absolutely, it wasn't. But we're also in this period of zero interest rates, quantitative, stimulus. Free money for everybody, literally. And, they want to get a piece of that. But, yeah, it is interesting he said they launched their exchange in the spring of 2019. And here he is in the spring of 2021 saying, oh, exchanges have gotten so much better in the last couple years. What? Oh, my God.
But I think people are sort of like, look, like, seems like they have a shot.
Yeah.
And I think that made us feel like we had a shot.
Yeah. So walk us through the Blockfolio acquisition, because Ed Moncada has to be one of my favorite people in all of crypto. He's like, I don't know your relationship. I'm assuming you're close, but like, he's just a great guy. And
okay. I don't care about Blockfolio. I don't care about the naming rights to the Heat Stadium. But I do care about what is the value of FTX. I'm going to skip ahead just a bit here.
Really, like we've gotten sort of like very brief kicking of the tires, but again, it's sort of like it got cut off and like staged.
Oh, I'm gonna roll it back because he's talking about what he's talking about. He's answering the question. Has anybody ever tried to buy the company? Okay, listen to his answer.
Do you flipping this around? Do you guys get acquisition offers a lot to acquire FTX?
We used to. I think that like we've gotten a number.
We used to.
They've been dying down over time, basically because. So our sense is basically that like whenever people reach out to acquire us, their hope is that we're just going to sell way too cheap.
Yeah. Well, because the number of people who can actually acquire FTX is probably diminishing quite quickly as the value, the enterprise value goes up.
Exactly. Like very few people have like the actual cash on hand necessary to do that.
Have you ever gotten an acquisition?
Ironically, including them, they didn't have it on
from
hand.
someone like a Bank of America or
Jesus,
or someone like a more traditional firm.
This is the environment, by the way. This is the fertile ground on which the AMC mania, the meme stock mania, this is the fertilized ground that those secondary things sprouted out of. Absolutely. This is the landscape that that the AMC thing happened in. So in that sense, I think it's probably more relevant than I originally thought it was to be looking at this now, because this is very much not what we have now. So to the guy who was asking about, am I gonna be able to get my money back if I bought in at $40? I'm just making that up. He didn't say that, but there was a question earlier. We would need to go back to this. We would need to go back to a time period when this could happen. And I'm not even talking about FTX. I'm talking about this interview. This interview could happen, and we wouldn't be sitting here tearing it to shreds, saying, what the fuck is this guy on about? This is bullshit. Do you see that happening? I don't. Just food for thought.
Not really. Like, we've gotten sort of like very brief kicking of the tires, but again, it's sort of like it got cut off in like stage 0.1 because basically just like quoted a number and they're like, oh yeah, no, not interested at that valuation. And again, I think like, their hope was that they could. I mean, it's a reasonable thing for them to hope for. Also, it's just that like we just like quote way too low of a number.
Yeah. What's the value of FTX? Do you think right now?
It's
interesting
an interesting question, and obviously no one knows for sure. But I think you can sort of look at like.
Now, why does no one know for sure? Obviously, no one knows for sure. That's what he said. What is the value of FTX? Well, it's an interesting question. Obviously, no one knows for sure. Really, nobody knows for sure. And I'm looking at this interviewer over here and looking at his reaction. And I'm seeing what looks like potentially confusion at that statement. He didn't say anything. And maybe I'm just reading into it too much. I'll roll it back and listen to it and won't stop it. But what about SBF saying, well, obviously, nobody can say for sure? Shouldn't you be able to pull up your Excel spreadsheet and see? Not Excel spreadsheet. Shouldn't you be able to pull up your SAP system, your ERP system, your financial accounting system? Hell, QuickBooks, at the very least. And see? Like that anyway, I don't know. I just thought it was odd. I'll roll it back here. Okay. All right, this should be good.
Reasonable thing for them to hope for. Also, it's just that like we just like quote way too low of a number.
Yeah. What's the value of FTX? Do you think right now?
It's a really interesting question, and obviously no one knows for sure. But I think you can sort of look at like, you can look at comparables here, right? Like you can look at what Coinbase and Kraken and.
Why would we look? I'm sorry, I said I would not stop it, but why would we look at those to get the value of FTX? Is this not I mean, obviously it wasn't a red flag, I guess, but I mean, and we have the benefit of hindsight and the, all that stuff. So, okay, whatever. But I mean, shouldn't this have been a red flag? I'm sorry, I can't tell you what the enterprise is worth. What? And it's so flippant. It's so, I don't know. Well, nobody knows, but we can look at Coinbase. I mean, really? I mean, you get the sense that in this context, hearing this now, knowing what we know, the fact that these fucking people, this Wall Street fucking slime, bought into this fucking shit, hook, line, and sinker, that tells you something about the whole system. Tells me something. Actually, it confirms something that I already thought. These people are so full of fucking shit. From top to bottom, this system is garbage. And it will do this again. It will make these kind of mistakes over and over and over. With the real collateral damage being, of course, obviously the customer funds. Because it's not their money. At no point was any of their money in danger. So, don't worry about that. But it's just such complete garbage from top to bottom, and with such a flippant attitude too. No wonder people hate Wall Street. No wonder people hate finance, that we hate these fucking slime balls, and they do. They all fucking belong in jail. They all fucking belong in jail. Send them to fucking Guantanamo. And these fucks on AMC belong right there next to SBF. Okay, going forward here.
It's a really interesting question, and obviously no one knows for sure, but you know, I think you can sort of look at, like, you know, you can look at comparables here, right? Like you can look at what Coinbase and Kraken and you know, BitMEX and you know, the various URL companies, and I mean, you know, I don't know, who knows, but I think 20 is sort of the ballpark that you get to.
Yeah. One of your
20 is the ballpark.
Shoot.
Okay.
I really like the guy, but he had a good thread about March 12th or March 13th.
Yep, it's probably Trubico.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the interesting things that I learned there, because I'm not a trader, right? He's like, this was really tough for us. We handled it well. A lot of people handled it well. What you guys don't realize on the outside is how much worse this could have gone, right? He's like, you literally could have had Bitcoin going down to like $500 pretty quickly. And
Woo, look at that.
Can you explain what happened on March 12th or 13th?
Futures fumble.
What that day was like, and like how much worse it could have gone?
Yeah, it could have been a total fucking nightmare. I mean, and in particular, like, the big thing is that you had these cascading liquidations, right? If it weren't for that, the risk would have been a lot lower because, frankly, no one who was holding lots of Bitcoin thought that it was worth. No one thought it was worth 3,500, but it did get that low. But everyone thought it was worth more than that. No one was like, "Oh yeah, no, you got to sell here. This is obviously like, you know, an overpriced Bitcoin." Even the people selling didn't think that because they didn't want to be selling. They're selling because they were getting liquidated, you know. And so I think it's one of these things where, like, was almost accidental that it printed up there, or down there rather, and it just happened because, you know, someone gets liquidated, which triggers a liquidation of someone else, which triggers a liquidation of someone else, and eventually like billions of dollars got liquidated. The scary thing about those is that it's not clear why they stop. You know, it could just keep going, and the problem is that, like, when you're driving down to that sort of range, there are a lot of businesses and deals in crypto that were just premised on the assumption that Bitcoin would never go below 5K.
Yeah, like mining businesses, a lot of lenders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so there's just like a ton of other people who didn't have leveraged futures positions on, but who nonetheless had basically an economic situation that was unsustainable below 5K. And what you worry is that you have like this sort of 2008 like situation where,
so they're talking about,
eventually it becomes clear that, like, it might cascade through the whole
March 12th, 2020.
Like almost nothing will be left. That was the real worry. And it was just like every $1,000 that Bitcoin went down, another chunk of the industry became unprofitable.
And hit a low of
Wide,
38.58 on the 13th.
Well, from shit really hitting the fan.
I mean,
are we talking
yeah,
hours?
Not very
days?
far.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
6 hours, 12 hours. I don't know. Like,
crazy.
I mean, it's dropping pretty quickly at some points there. You know, it wasn't like just slowly bleeding down. Like, it went from like 9K to like 4K in about a day. So the answer can't be like, you know, there's a limit to how long the answer to that can be. Right?
But it's up 800% since then, so
it didn't take that long to get.
He should be rich, right? You'd think.
I think like in 1 hour it could have happened if it was a very bad hour, but each hour is not rated to be that hour. But if it had gone on for 6 to 12 hours, maybe one of them would have. It's not a whole lot of time.
Nuts. Do you think you'll run FTX and Alameda? And then we've got a third thing, Serum, which we haven't even talked about, which I don't think we'll have time for. But you can give a one-liner if you want to mention what it is, because there's a lot of investors listening. But like, do you think you'll run these three companies forever, or do you think eventually you'll put in CEOs in place? Like, what is Sam Bankman-Fried doing?
Oh boy, more.
Yeah.
What is Sam Bankman-Fried?
It's like already
What is Sam Bankman-Fried doing in 5 years? The irony is palpable.
I've taken a pretty big step back there, and am I'm not.
I'll say it's a big step back.
Am sort of excited it's been able to hire a bunch of great people. In terms of the other ones, I mean, I think there's nothing imminently there, and I think that like they're in a position where like I think I'm important to them, and I think that they're important, and I want them to do well. But I mean, FTX in particular, I don't foresee myself taking the gas off of anytime soon. Serum's an interesting one because it's a decentralized ecosystem, and so
No, because you were the one that was responsible for the major fraud. So how could you take a step back?
Working on it and pushing on it and building on it.
You literally couldn't. That's the problem with fraud.
FTX, like right now, I'm assuming how you.
Same reason Bernie Madoff didn't take a step back from his business. If you think about it,
FTX is you're competing against like Coinbase and Binance and things like that, and the other exchanges.
Yep.
Although his
eventually it will be more.
Situation was a little different, but
to back it up, you guys are now trading fractional stock offerings of things like Tesla and Apple and Amazon and pre-IPO Coinbase. Do you guys see yourself competing eventually with New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ?
That'd be pretty cool. And I would be pretty sad if we never felt like a competitor to any stock exchanges, although we'll see where it goes. Maybe it ends up being international stock exchanges. I don't know for sure, but part of our thesis of the future is like, we're an exchange, we have exchange technology, and you can use exchange technology to exchange things, actually lots of things. Not just cryptocurrencies. And, we've built a matching engine and a risk engine, a liquidation engine, and a GUI, and just a mobile app, and API, and a brand, and customers, and, all of those things help out with whatever trading you're offering.
Yeah. Let's we're gonna start to wind this down, Sam, so you can get a little sleep. Let's talk about health for a second. Are you still vegan?
Oh yeah, he said that it was 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, and where is it? It's more towards the beginning. Like this dude.
Biden's biggest donors. You bought Blockfolio.
Let's listen to just the intro of this, his introduction. Okay.
Apple. Head over to the review section. Give it 5 stars. Let me know what you think. All right, let's jump in. Sam, it is so nice to have you here. You've been one of the most requested guests, so thanks for coming on, my friend.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I want to just set the stage, right? So you run Alameda, you run FTX, and you run Serum. I know you've got a bunch of other folks who help you out with that, but you've got 3 companies going on. You just bought the naming rights to the Miami Heat for $135 million. You're one of Joe Biden's biggest donors. You bought Blockfolio last year for $150 million. How much sleep did you get this past weekend?
I got some last night. That was nice.
Is some like 4 hours or 7 hours? What are we talking about?
I think it may have been 7. It's a good night. I didn't get much the nights before. I mean, the Miami-Dade hearing, and then just everything else sort of continuing to go on in the background. Hired some people, which is exciting, but just sort of there's a constant stream of things that are always grabbing for attention. And one of the more brutal parts, I guess, is the combination of crypto is obviously 24/7, with the fact that I just have to take calls with a lot of people, and many of them are Eastern Hemisphere, many are Western, and so those also sort of span a lot of the hours.
Yeah. When you sleep, how many nights a week are you sleeping in the office on the famous beanbag, and how often are you going home?
It's probably a good solid 4 or 5.
Nice. I like it. So, Sam, we're going to talk about a bunch. People sent in over 100 questions.
All right. Got to cultivate that image, that freewheeling, whatever, non-traditionalist type of image. All right, let's go to the rapid fire.
Down, Sam, so you can get a little sleep. Let's talk about health for a second. Are you still vegan, and do you still not drink?
Both are true.
Nice.
I don't religiously not drink. I think I have like.
I mean, how? Both are true, dude.
I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
Most people would call that.
Ask about drugs.
Yep.
2 drinks a year. Yeah, I actually haven't been drinking for about 6 months. I feel much better than I did when I was drinking. All right. 3 kind of rapid fire questions here, and then you can ask me one question, and then you can hit the beanbag. There's a lot of non-crypto folks actually listening to this podcast. Let's call it 28-year-olds who maybe work in finance, they work in banking, they work in tech, they're looking to break into crypto. A lot of them are entrepreneurial. What is the biggest opportunity for entrepreneurs who are looking at the crypto space right now?
Yeah.
NFTs.
It's often in rapidly exploding areas. I think the biggest things that I would say is whatever, I'm gonna have some opinions on like specifically which projects or companies or whatever you should work for or have high upside or I think are gonna be the future or something like that. But everyone's got opinions on that, and I don't know. I mean, you can just Google what I think there, or listen to whatever people think. I think what I would say more generally is like what I see is the thing that like can just bring huge value and you can get a lot of value from doing is not just from sort of generically doing something or working on something important in crypto or something like that. It's basically like try hard, do a good job, and follow through to completion. And I think a lot of people, they just like fail one of those tests, and it's like
really
when sort of a market and an ecosystem
Sam
is good, you don't need to be shooting to have you don't necessarily need to have chosen literally the best possible idea in order for it to work. The bar is a lot lower than that, but what you do need to do is actually have a product and actually get it to launch, and actually like release things and try and get users. You're not going to get users if you never try. And you're, and so I think what I'd say above anything else is like, yeah, build something, have it be a reasonable thing, have it be something people have asked for, and actually finish it and drive it to completion. And that's going to be more important.
It doesn't have to be real.
What it is.
It doesn't have to be real, but
what's the most controversial decision you've had to make at Alameda, or actually just in your career?
Oh boy, I mean, well, publicly or privately. I mean, behind the scenes, there's when it's sort of first starting up Alameda, there's a huge number of things that were complete messes, and I didn't know how to manage exactly at that point, and ended up with like some people who were pissed off at each other and me, and I had to sort of resolve that. But in terms of sort of more publicly controversial things, I think like
I wonder if he's talking about the decision whether or not to cover trading losses on Alameda, for example, with customer funds from FTX. That type of decision would seem to fit the criteria. Piss people off, and everything else. And I wouldn't either. I wouldn't trust anybody. I wouldn't trust somebody who sleeps on a beanbag with my life savings. I wouldn't trust somebody that sleeps at the office in general. That tells me that you have no sense of balance and separation. And I can see why people would be like, oh, Scott, it means this person's dedicated. Oh, it means they're always working. That's not what I want. I mean, he just said he doesn't see any point in the future where he can take a step back from FTX. Okay, fair enough. But that also is a red flag to me. This guy has to be there. This guy, it can't run without him. That's not a healthy enterprise. So what is he doing that is so important that he can't take a step back, that he has to sleep at the office? And that's what I'm saying. We have the benefit of knowing that there's this huge element of the whole thing. It's absolutely fucking fascinating. And yes, just Google it. Just see what I said, or see what anybody said, or just, whatever. Adderall and beanbags. That's all you need. Or, meth in a blanket. Let's just call it that.
sort of more publicly controversial things, I think like I mean, it's a silly example, but like, you know, when and how to expire the Trump contracts. I mean, that got a lot of that got pretty hot.
Yeah,
that is in hot water there.
Yeah, Twitter was fun.
I think at some point someone's asking for Trump March because Trump Feb wasn't giving enough time to see what would happen. I don't know. That's like one of them. I think there are a number of things that were not actively controversial, but people sort of like disagreed with at the time. I think like using USD instead of USDT as a base for FTX, having linear instead of inverse features, having a cross margin instead of isolated margin. I don't know. I think in retrospect, I'm happy with most of those decisions, but
yeah, cool. Well, we can finish if you want to ask me one question.
yeah, I mean, I guess like, you know, what's your favorite and least favorite part of FTX?
Will preface this by saying I'm not a trader. So
I love the fact that it's not a fraud.
A lot of traders, right? And we help a lot of exchanges acquire customers who are traders. So I know the space decently well, but I'm not a trader. I think my favorite part of FTX is how quickly you guys launch new products and how you guys capitalize on culture, which I think a lot of companies don't understand that.
Oh,
I'm a marketer. And
red flag number 87,000.
And so when I see
capitalize on culture
crazy quickly on product, I think it's cool. I respect it. I know how hard it is. When I see companies that move crazy quickly on marketing, I'm always blown away. And you guys do what I think 1 in 100 companies can do, which is you capture opportunity when culture changes, and that's really hard to do. My least favorite part is I'm in New York, and I can't sign up. I tried signing up for Blockfolio trading, and I got denied. So I could try to VPN in, or I could just play it by the rules. So that's I mean, you and every other exchange needs a bit license.
Yeah, it's somewhere on the roadmap. Maybe not in the immediate one, but
that the whole thing was a fraud. That's my least favorite part, but I can look past that,
Yeah.
as long as I make a lot of money.
Sam, when are you going to go to sleep tonight?
Oh, geez. I mean, I've got some time from like 8:30 or 9 a.m. I think. I've got kind of back-to-back.
You crack me up, man.
Until then.
All right, well, nice work. Good work. Sam, this has been awesome. This is one of my favorite episodes I've ever recorded. This will be out very soon, so I hope everybody enjoys it. And again, this was Sam Bankman-Fried of...
Yeah, so this interview was from Thursday, April 1st, 2021. I believe that was a Thursday. Thursday, April 1st, 2021, April Fool's Day, 2021. Amazing. And this is just one of probably dozens of extant interviews that are out there. So, what happened to Bitcoin on that day, I wonder? A little doji kind of thing there, a little sideways doji. But, the ATH wasn't that far off. Well, of course, you had this like little localized high, and then you had the big one here. November, 10th. So it's already been over 2 years. Very interesting. So you went from 69 to 16, less than 16 in a year. And now you're back up to, 37, 38. Fascinating. And maybe, I don't know. Maybe AMC is correlated with it. I don't know. Let's see. Is it? Now, this would be, if they wanted to look at cycles, this would be kind of an interesting thing to look at. Maybe, might not be. But, the correlation between these different risky ass shit securities or assets, whatever you want to call them. Like, because there is some correlation, of course. Yeah, look at that. The GameStop squeeze. But in Bitcoin, really didn't respond. You know? So you see some similar profiles here on the price action. Like, very similar here. This is, you know, going into 2022, of course. That was the big dump. Everything. The everything dump. And you see a little bit on these pump and dumps in AMC, you know, relating to larger market pump and dumps. But even like, look at this one here. This is interesting. AMC, around the reverse split conversion, dumped, right? There was a crypto dump. There was a Bitcoin dump around that time. But it kind of been pumped up before that. And then, of course, now, you know, whatever, the last, you know, 3 weeks. It's highly interesting, I think. And, you know, it's a unique opportunity. It truly is. To see somebody, you know, who's verifiably is full of shit. Well, we deal with a lot of that here, you know. But in this case, at least, we're not the verifier. We didn't verify this person as being full of shit. The world knows it. In fact, the court of law knows it as well. But this is the NASDAQ today. It looks like futures are dumping. We could have, you know, I don't know. Who knows? Could have anything happen. But we've got, you know, the dollar doing its thing. And what about bonds? Yields are up, you know, nominally. It may be we might start to see some risk off this week, finally. What about the IWM? The Russell 2000 is also dumping. As it stands right now, the NASDAQ's actually leading the losses, okay? Yeah. Decontamination is on me. So just send the bill to Alkin, and we'll take care of that, okay? Put it on your expense account. Expense it. Just expense it. All right. I don't think that there's anything to look at on the AMC stock subreddit, but we'll just take another quick look. Let's see. Okay. Obsessed with China. Popcorn distributions. Memes. Remember. Fuck you, Kenny. How many retail shareholders are there? The numbers I've heard are 3.4 or 3.8 million, but there could be more or less. There's no way that you're going to ever know that. Here's that equity swap thing. The current price of the swap is 999 billion. Is that billion? Thousand, million, billion. Yeah. Equals 999 billion. Archegos, this is from Credit Suisse and then absorbed by UBS. No wonder they are restricting customer withdrawals. Yes. Written by the writer of a run-on sentence. I'm sorry, if you write run-on sentences, I'm probably not going to listen to what you have to say. That's just kind of a basic thing. And so many of these people in this AMC grift don't know how to use punctuation. They just write these run-on sentences. That makes you look uneducated, and to some people it matters. So learn how to use a fucking comma or period and then come back, okay? Goddamn. Motherfuckers. But I would like to have a link to whatever this is. I'd like to look at it myself because there's obviously parts of this are cut off. We're not seeing the whole picture. Lynn, I saw it for $2.83 here the other day. I didn't get it for that, but $2.83 was the lowest price that I saw on gasoline, regular unleaded. Does anybody know where this is from? Security James. Where? This is going to bother me. Let's see. Equity swap. I can't even believe I'm searching for this. This is ridiculous. You'd think that something that big would have some references online somewhere, right? 999 billion. 999 billion. But I'm not really having much luck. It looks like some kind of platform almost, but I don't know. I mean, the other thing is, just looking at the general news for UBS, not seeing this alarm being raised. Now, that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be or whatever, but, 5 hours ago, Bloomberg was talking about certain aspects of different things relating to UBS. And we'll look at a couple of those real quick, but like UBS asset upgrades big infrastructure investments as deals slow. Okay. UBS asset management focusing on infrastructure improvements that it already owns, so they're going forward into the future. I mean, they have to allocate money somewhere, right? Let's see. Here's something from earlier November. UBS to issue $3.5 billion in AT1 bonds and first since Credit Suisse takeover. Demand for the AT1 instruments is a testament of confidence in the bank. But what happens? What happens if you type zero hedge UBS? I wonder, and filter it by date of the last week. I'm not even seeing it on here. So I guess you have to have the super secret access or something to get all of the bearish, doomer shit about UBS. I don't know. Zurich, as in Switzerland, I guess. On Monday, the canton of Zurich issued a $113 million digital bond via the SIX digital exchange. Ledger Insights reported, while most of the bond terms were unexciting, the most distinctive aspect is this transaction. Most distinctive aspect is this transaction is that it settles using a wholesale central bank digital currency issued by the Swiss National Bank. Okay. The joint lead managers on the issuance were Zuricher Canton Bank, UBS, and the Raiffeisen Switzerland. Okay. So that doesn't mention anything about any type of collapse or anything like that. They just literally issued this new thing. So it might be bullshit. It might just be bullshit. but like I searched for, what did I search for? 999 billion, UBS, Credit Suisse, and then I sorted it, and then I went to news and I sorted it by date. Yep, that's what I did. I mean, there's not even anything from this month. So, who knows? All overblown and, just circumstantial. Equity swap. I still can't find anything about those supposed equity swaps. So, I don't know. Let's see if Baja's got anything. Asia starts week mostly lower ahead of data. Okay. Well, United States did too. USS Eisenhower entered Persian Gulf 4 hours ago. My thoughts exactly. What the fuck? Okay. And we've got hostages released and, apparently I bought fake gas and, fantastic. 5.0 earthquake in Taiwan. All kinds of shit. Lower Monday, no major data releases. Japan's retail trade. Oh boy. Whoop. To those angry at Adam Aron and dilution, please tell me what you would have done. Well, just don't embezzle money from the concession stand fund. Maybe try that, and there's always money in the banana stand too. All right. This is quickly devolving into nonsense. I just realized the best president is the best present is AMC gift cards. No, absolutely not. Theaters are dead. Nobody ever said that. Reverse repo. I don't know why we're calling this out. I don't know what difference that makes to anything. UBS. Freezing. I mean, which one of these clowns has a UBS account? That's what I want to know. Napoleon. Great. Fantastic. Let's post our fucking ticket stubs as if anybody cares. AMC about to go burr. Meaning, yeah, you're about to get frozen out. I don't know what that means. I know what they mean, but no. Sam Bankman-Fried reportedly used pouches of fish as payment for haircut in jail. Okay. I love this too. This is from Fox News. And it looks like they were interviewing this guy, John Deaton, crypto law founder. I love the quote they got really right here under the picture is, Sam Bankman-Fried's fraud case has nothing to do with crypto, says John Deaton. Oh, no, it doesn't have anything to do with crypto. Except, yeah, it does. It absolutely does. What the fuck? I mean, that is some Fox News propaganda bullshit right there. By the way, Fox News was also the one saying the other day that the Niagara Falls tragic accident was a terrorist attack with absolutely no source, no justification whatsoever. Every other media outlet was not saying that, but here's this one that is saying it. And then, Yesterday I saw the FBI concluded, there's no, there were no explosives. It was not a terrorist incident. Yet Fox News was saying it was on the day that it happened. Charles Payne belongs in fucking jail. He'll never make it there though, but he absolutely does. He's responsible for a big part of this AMC grift. No question about it. Contractions, Kenny, you beat your 12-month VIX I low today. Like, do they think that Ken Griffin is literally sitting there like applauding the fact that the VIX is below 30? Like, I don't get. They're giving so much power to Ken Griffin. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid. Did institutional ownership go up? Well, probably not. Maybe a little bit, but what you're seeing. And I said this, believe me, trust me, bro. I said this. There was, they were wondering what the short interest and all that, and the institutional ownership numbers were wonky after the reverse split merger. Well, of course they were, because you had the last quarter's quarterly filings were reported on the old float. Now, all that's done. Third quarter 13Fs are in. So theoretically, we should be able to go somewhere and just institutional ownership and get these numbers, and it should be different, right? Should indicate something more believable than whatever it was last time. And they're saying 19.4%. I suppose that would be believable. But I mean, these numbers are still not updated here on NASDAQ. Well, okay, yeah, they are. That's the effective date. So as of the end of third quarter, which was September 30th, which was reported on November 15th, Vanguard held 13.6 million shares. That's what that's telling us. Okay, so it is correct now. Because before you saw these, they said 630, 630, 630. That was on the old float. You don't hear these AMC grifter Muppets talking about this stuff. All right, well, I think that's about it. I think that's all I've got. Let's come back here, I guess, and maybe we could have one of these grifters play us out or something. We need something, to get us through out of this here.
You're being a little...
Speaking of Charles Payne, I fuck me. All right. Okay. All right. Is this what you mean? This is the one you mean, right? All right. Okay. All right. Wait, the drunk guy from Telegram. Oh, from Telegram. In Sunny's stream, I'm scrolling back here. I was in Groupthink Discord, of course. Let's see here. Okay. Drunk guy is lost in the last link. Casey Shaw fanboy in the first link. Okay, so we want the second link. Here's the second link. Let's see what we got.
So they're doing a quick.
I don't think I was listening at this point.
That's not important information. The price is still the NBBO. That's the important part. It still hits the tape, so you see it. And that's faster than retail is trading. Retail is not sitting around trading in 15-second intervals.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I want to be the other person in the other trade who's going to ask this question. Why did this trade for the amount it did? And also, you just said something that I really question a bunch as you said it, as as the provider for the short outcome, why did this outcome actually happen?
I'm not. When you say why did it do you mean why did the trade happen? Why did the broker take the trade, or did it settle? Like what do you when you say outcome? It's kind of a big word. Like what do you mean?
Well, you just said
Don't drink and trade, please.
I'm really drunk right now. And
Or DD.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Okay. If you were asking why my broker takes my trade when they don't have the inventory,
No. There was a certain thing that. Hold on. Go reiterate what you just said one more time for me, because like as a person who's on your side a bunch, I had a question. So reiterate what you just said one more time for me.
Okay. Sorry, I'm driving. Let me think about what I just said. So,
yeah, just
I talked
say it
about
again.
hiding. I know. I just have to remember. So the first point was really just around the impact on price discovery. The second was on internalization and on any trades between BDs, not distorting the volume of the trade in real time, which is part of it. There's also stuff like fractional shares. You can't do that without internalization, obviously. And yeah, I mean, it's the inventory imbalance across brokers is not that common most of the time, and it won't last for very long. But sometimes you'll have a big spike on something, and someone won't have it in inventory, and they'll reach out to someone else and buy it from them. And you don't want to make it look like there's twice as much volume happening at that moment, because there's not. There is after the fact, but it's not the intent of that trade for 100 shares to be 200 shares, which is what it would look like if you didn't have the secondary venue, if that makes sense. Zoo has a really good paper on this that I've shared a bunch in the past.
No. I think we're getting back on the point that.
Well, let me jump in here with something too, because I didn't hear the beginning of this exchange, but maybe that's not the right word, this conversation, but it sounds like they're talking about payment for order flow. They're talking about internalization. They're talking about broker inventories, things like that, and riskless principal transactions. In other words, those pesky ones that the apes love that create naked short, quote unquote, for liquidity providing reasons. And I'm sure he mentions this at some point, but just to, put a point on it, he mentioned 100,000 shares, may appear to be 200,000 shares and that's why the buy to cover order that the second buy transaction, right? The one that the broker buys, those the execution of that order is not reported to the publicly disseminated tape. In other words, it doesn't get reported to the public because it's already those 100,000 shares have already been accounted for. We're talking about 100,000 shares. We're not talking about 200,000 shares. We're talking about 100,000 shares that was shorted to this person and then is being covered or closed out essentially with the actual 100,000 shares, but only 100,000 shares changed hands. So those are not publicly disseminated. I forget what it's called. It's the non-media disseminated tape. It's a FINRA thing. It's where I read about it, learned about it months ago, last year sometime. and it is confusing, and would be very confusing if one was drunk, I guess, trying to understand this. I'll keep playing it and see where this goes. But, you might, it makes sense, right? So I'm going to buy 100,000 shares. Somebody's going to sell me 100,000 shares. Which side of that gets reported, and why isn't it reported why isn't it reported twice? Because somebody else had to sell in order for me to buy. But, we don't want to overrepresent the volume, because at the end of the day, that person is selling 100,000 shares and I'm buying 100,000 shares, and we're just coming together in this marketplace. That's sort of the idea as far as I understand it. So let's continue.
We're taking on there's a bunch of short selling that apparently happened, and then you're able to see this, and the other short sellers are not able to see this, right?
Well, so it's the inventory imbalance isn't just about shorting something, because I was talking about makers who could already do that naked anyway. It's about following up on that, right? And so it could come all the way up to the moment of settlement where you go, oh shit, my inventory doesn't have what I need in it. I got to go get that from somewhere. Well, if you go out and buy it on the open market, it's skewing what the actual buyers and sellers volume was, because it's your internal sort of issue that you're trying to source these things for settlement purposes. It's not always just a short sale. It could just be settling in general. There could be something that happened in that settlement window where, now you can't make good, and you might have a failure to deliver if you don't get these shares from somewhere. This idea that all things that are about to become fails go to lit exchanges is obviously not accurate, because people bitch about it all the time, the fact that it's not the case. One of the ways that people who are trying to trap shorts, they think that they can force this to happen. It would be so fractured, it would be hidden in normal volume anyway, but it would, double the volume, because the original transaction volume for 100 shares or whatever now is going to be counted twice.
So there we go. We figured it out. We literally talked through this. I hope people listening to this understood what we're talking about now. Does that actually, for Ghost down here, does he understand what just happened through this?
Yeah, go ahead and if you want to respond to that, and then I see you have your hand up. Go ahead and with your question. Then after that, we'll get Puzzle.
I was going to say Puzzle's up first.
Okay, cool. Puzzle, you go first, and we'll give it to Ghost if he wants to come back with a question.
Okay. Well, and I was going to touch on it. Well, I was going to ask a question, one of those random out in left field questions about the fractional shares. So I was glad you mentioned that.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to Okay, so where you can find this stuff, and I'll put this link in the chat here. It's on FINRA. So this is trade reporting. I believe this is the right place. Let's see. Which party has trade reporting obligation? Interesting. Types of reports. Non-tape. Riskless principal transactions. These are the relevant things here. Reporting matches of customer orders by a member. Reporting matches of broker-dealer orders by a member. Right? So whether it's your customer, whether it's a broker-dealer customer, member orders and customer or non-member orders by a member. Modifiers. Transactions not reported to FINRA. So I think it's going to be it's one of these sections here, non-tape possibly, or the riskless principal. Come on. It's 300. Why is it not? Okay, section 300. Step outs. Okay, riskless principal transactions here. Talking about OTC transaction reporting requirements. Riskless principal transaction is a transaction in which a member, after having received an order to buy or sell a security, purchases or sells a security as principal and satisfies the original order by selling or buying as principal at the same price, the offsetting riskless leg. Generally, a riskless principal transaction involves two orders, the execution of one being dependent on the receipt or execution of the other. Hence, there is no risk in the interdependent transactions when completed. Members can report OTC, and this is all your Robinhood trades from what I understand, right? Members can report, because those all are reported as OTC. Members can report OTC riskless principal transactions by submitting a single tape report to a FINRA facility in the same manner as an agency transaction, marked with a riskless principal capacity indicator, excluding the markup or markdown, commission requirement, other fee. Alternatively, members can report an OTC riskless principal transaction by submitting two or more as necessary reports. One, a tape report to reflect the initial leg of the transaction with a capacity of principal. So that's when they sold it to you. Two, a non-tape, or what they call a regulatory or clearing only report to reflect the offsetting riskless leg of the transaction with the capacity of riskless principal. So that's it right there, as far as I know. And that, that would be what we see, what you see when you, if you were to look at time and sales, when you submit an order and you see it pop up in time and sales, and you just do like a weird quantity, unique quantity of shares or something so that you can spot your trade in the tape. You see that as a buy order, or you might see it in between, in the middle of the spread. Right. So, but you see that reported. That's the first transaction. The second transaction would be them actually buying the shares, and it would be at the same price probably. So there's no risk. But anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know. So there's a buy order that's involved, but it's, like I said, it's the same shares. So you're right. Members should not report the exchange trade to FINRA for public dissemination purposes, as that would result in double tape reporting of the same transaction. So they have some rules here, FINRA rules. Transactions reported by members to the ADF. Members shall, as soon as practical, but no later than 10 seconds after the execution, submit the trade to the tape. Modifiers. So all this stuff that apes wonder about, they don't know. It's all FINRA. It's all on FINRA. It takes a bit to find it sometimes, and I hate their font. I hate their color scheme. Let me see if I can fix this here. No, I don't know. Maybe I have to see if I can. But I hate the gray on white freaking font. It's like, no, you don't want me to read this, do you? I can barely see this. But it's all here. It's all here. Cool. It's like we might have something coming through here, possibly. So, yeah, well, let's see what's happening here. Back to work tomorrow. Oh, God. Still have those 5 vacation days, though, I got to use for the end of the year. I'm down to 5. I thought I saw that a video was being sent, but Manuel's sending something. So I'm going to wait for that and see. Look, even the Germans are grifting about Ken Griffin. Ken Grifton.
Das nachfolgende Video stellt
even the Germans.
Kauf oder Verkauf einer Aktie oder eines Finanzproduktes dar. Es handelt sich um keine Anlageempfehlung, sondern lediglich um eine Information. Abonniert den Kanal, läutet die Glocke hinterher, dann verpasst ihr hier auch nichts von Aktien und Krypto-News.
So you better be trading this. I knew, I had a feeling this would happen, and of course I don't have any positions on. God damn it. Where is it? Here we go. All right.
Hey guys, this message is for everyone in the Discord.
Okay, so let me bring my Telegram. By the way, Telegram finance chat group. The link's in the description. If you're not a member, you should become one. It's obviously free. I don't even know why I need to say that, but I don't know. We talk about becoming members. You know, everybody's, oh, how much? No. So the link's in the description. Should be the correct link. No weirdness there now, hopefully. And then I'll bring in the, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Okay. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So here it is. And we've got this message from...
This message for everyone in the Discord. Now, you don't have to pay to be a member, and you don't have...
Shoot. Oops. I don't want to bring it up full screen, but I want to play it. I guess I can't do that. Oh, here we go.
Guys,
no.
This message is for everyone in the Discord.
All right, whatever.
Now, you don't have to pay to be a member, and you don't have to watch me on TikTok or YouTube or whatever you guys got going on. If you hang out in the Discord, you're going to get this message, and you guys are going to find out a little something behind the scenes here. I was doing connecting the dots today, and I found quite possibly one of the bigger connect the dots points that I've ever uncovered. And I only say this because, you know, like we follow from like executive to executive and like the influence they have, private equity to private equity, like the partnerships and how it all happens. And I'm telling you guys right now, it was that significant, the what I found. So I'm so excited to share it with you guys. I'm putting together this series. I had been putting off.
Oh, okay.
For so
cool.
Because every day I'm like, oh, let me play some more TFT. Oh, I want to do this, or let me go hang out with the family, or let me go for my 2-mile runs, or do whatever I'm doing. Right? No, I want to run home right now. Just to
my 2-mile runs. You fucking retard.
And there's 8 executives that I'm looking at, and I'm only at the first one so far. So I still have to get through the 7 others. It'll be the longest Connect the Dots series I've ever done. I hope you guys like it.
Well, that all but confirms that I won't go anywhere near it.
As far as how we got here on Bed Bath & Beyond.
Hell no.
They played other stocks against you and how they're still doing it today. So thank you guys so much for watching the channel, supporting the channel.
Oh, great.
And yeah, you hear that radio? That's me at work. I got to get back to work, guys. Appreciate everything, though.
Oh, my God. Okay. Right. So, private equity firms are connected to each other by private money. Insane. On that note, clean up aisle 3. All right.
You can't kill Michael Myers! It's impossible!
This is what happens when you work to change things.
You're being a little bitch! What do you fucking want from me? Get off my dick!
You know, if you don't understand the situation, it's better sometimes not to speak and just be proven a complete imbecile in the matter. Okay, so...
Oh, sweet Tony.
Fuck you. I think you a bitch. You understand what I'm saying?
The feeling is mutual.
Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying it? What are you saying?
Huh?
First they think you're crazy, then they fight.
I love it. All right. Have a good one.
Case.
See you guys later.
And then
Take care.
you change the world.
Bye-bye.